What's going on, Knicks fans? You're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Video number 3 of the day. That's why you subscribe. That's why you hit that big red button. We're actually 8 subs away from 12,000 subscribers on the channel. I can't wait till we get there. We're going to have to party a little bit when we do. But the reason for today's live show, Shams Charania of The Athletic provided us with a Donovan Mitchell trade update for the first time in a while. His last report was like 3 weeks ago when he said that talks have stalled between Danny Ainge and Leon Rose. But today, he said the Knicks and Jazz recently re-engaged in trade talks centered around Donovan Mitchell. I still believe that this trade will get done somewhere around late August, early September. When we get closer and closer to New York Knicks training camp, that's when I think this trade will get done. The reason I really think it gets done is because the Knicks have what the Jazz want, and the Jazz have what the Knicks want. The Knicks, they want a superstar. They want a guy that could be the face of the franchise. That's Donovan Mitchell. The Utah Jazz, they want picks. They want young players, and they want expiring deals. All things the Knicks have with 8 tradable first-round picks, with Derrick Rose and Cam Reddish on $19 million worth of expiring deals, and they have young players like Emmanuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes, and Obi Toppin that the Utah Jazz could be interested in. I don't think the Knicks will have to give up all 3. I pretty much know that they will not. Maybe 1. Maybe 2. We'll break it all down in today's show. But we already got 100 people watching. So I want to know, where are my real ones at? Let's hit a real one roll call. Because it's not video number 1 of the day. It's not video number 2 of the day. It is video number 3. And if you're tuned in for the 3rd time on a Tuesday, August 16th, you're a real one. So drop a real one in the comment section. Pretty upset because I put out that video earlier today about 2 Knicks X factors to look forward to in the 2022 NBA season. And then about 35 minutes later, Shams Charania put out his article. So we got right back in the studio and got you guys a video. That's what we do on this channel. When news breaks, when rumors break, we get you guys a video. But where are my real ones at? If you're a real one, drop a real one in the comment section. Let me take a peek at the chat. I see it's already getting busy over there. My guy Carl's in the chat. Danny, Jet Life, Third Time the Charm, Brooklyn Buddha, Angel, Arrowman, Sherwin, Connor, Valentina, Shafraz, Arrowman, Isaac Petey is in the chat. What is good, young Petey? Steven, Trapstar, Jet Life, Kenny, Albert, Tavon, Arrowman, Dustin. Jason B is in the chat. Let's freaking go. Jason B, let's party. Let's turn this thing into a massive party. I'm excited. I really do believe this Donovan Mitchell trade is going to happen, and the reports today kind of just back it up a little bit. Let's give some shout-outs to the real ones, though. Jay Camacho, Tony, Connor, S. Martinez, Earl, Deshaun, Dustin, Ryzen, Greg, Harry, Shafraz, Isaac Petey, let's go. Sherwin and Rick Shaw. Let me answer this question from Sherwin. He says, will Donovan Mitchell make the Knicks a better team? Brunson, Mitchell, RJ, and Randall are all ball-dominant players. Who will one ball work with them? Who will one ball work with them? Not really sure what you're asking there. But how will one ball work? Not who, how? Because I believe outside of Julius Randle, these are all selfless basketball players. I don't mean to call Julius Randle selfish, but I do think he's a guy that wants the ball in his hands. If you want Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks, type 45 in the comments section. But I do believe if the Knicks trade for Donovan Mitchell, they will end up trading Julius Randle. There's been those rumors about Randle being involved in a trade going to the Los Angeles Lakers, where the Lakers send Russell Westbrook to the New York Knicks and the Knicks buy him out. That's what I think happens. But if you want Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks, I want you to type 45 in the comments section. I'll give some shout outs. Look, I'm ready to see Donovan Mitchell in the blue and orange, in the Mecca, at MSG, pulling up from the logo, in Mike Breen. Mitchell for 3. bang! Like, I could just hear it right now. I can hear the PA announcer at Madison Square Garden. Donovan Mitchell. Like, I can hear it already. I'm pushing it into existence. I truly believe a Donovan Mitchell trade is going to happen. Samuel S. Martinez, Arrow Man, Party, Jimmy, Jet Life, Earl, Harlem Girl, Valentina, Trap Star, Harry Ford. Shout out to everybody that's dropping a 45 in the comment section. Y'all are real ones. But I want to do this. In a Donovan Mitchell trade, we're going to have to give up at least one of the young players, at least one of these guys. Maybe you got to give up two. It sounds like the Utah Jazz really want Quentin Grimes, but it also sounds like Leon Rose does not want to trade Quentin Grimes. There was a report coming out from Tony Jones that the Knicks would be in the camp of trading Obi Toppin. So I want to ask you guys this question. If you could only pick one of these guys to keep, who would it be? Type 1 for Obi Toppin, type 5 for Emmanuel Quickley, or type 6 for Quentin Grimes. Let me know what you're thinking. There's an L3 to go with that next picture, Seeps. But yeah, let me know. I got a 1 from Earl. Carl says 1. Jet Life says 1. J Money 1. Jimmy 1. Connor 6. Trapstar 1. Samuel 1. Sherwin 6. Harry Ford, Sharice, Valentina, and Rick all say number 5. S. Martinez says 1. Rick Shaw says 1. Taven 1. Sounds like a lot of you guys are saying that you want to keep Obi Toppin, and I'm cool with that. But let's remember, Obi Toppin is 24 years old, and that's still young for an NBA player, only in year 3. But Donovan Mitchell is 25 years old, just 1 year older than Obi Toppin. I love Obi. I think he's going to be a great basketball player. But at the end of the day, I think I'm rolling with Quentin Grimes. I know I've gone back and forth because I love both these guys. It's gonna suck to see them go. But I truly believe right now, today, Wednesday, 6:30 Dallas time, August 16th, that Quentin Grimes is the guy that you want to keep. He's a 3-and-D specialist. He can mesh with everybody. You could have a closing lineup of Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Quentin Grimes, R.J. Barrett, and Mitchell Robinson. That provides you wing defense in Quentin Grimes. That provides you a shooter. I think that's the way the Knicks want to run. I like Obi, but I'm not sure he provides what you're going to need at that 4 spot if you go and make a trade for Donovan Mitchell. Because if you have Brunson and Mitchell in your backcourt, you're going to need that power forward to be an elite defender, guy that can switch, guy that can protect the rim, guy that gets you easy buckets. I'm not sure if Obi Toppin is that guy. Let me take a peek at the comment section. One voice says give them an extra draft pick and keep the young boys. I don't think it's the draft picks that's holding up this trade. It's the players. The Knicks are going to be willing to give up the draft picks. They have 11 first-round picks in the next 7 years. They can trade 8 of those. They are not worried about giving up a certain number of draft picks. It's about which players they can keep. Gabriel says, do you really think that Randall will get traded, especially since Randall technically brought in Leon and Wes? I think Julius Randle gets traded if the Knicks trade for Donovan Mitchell. I don't think there's a way that they find, that they run a lineup of Brunson, Barrett, Mitchell, and Randall. There's just too many guys that need the ball to be effective, and I'm not sure Julius Randle is willing to take a step back and be a 3rd or a 4th option. He has the skills, no doubt about it. He's a baller. What he did in the most improved season was legendary. I just don't know if he is the guy that you want at the 4 spot with Brunson, Barrett, and Donovan Mitchell in your backcourt. I also want to give a shout out to a couple of real ones out there. Shout out to Knicks Galaxy, my guy. He got his real one t-shirt. That's what's up. Shout out to Knicks Galaxy. He's not the only one that's gotten their shirt yet. I also want to give a shout out to my guy, Nathaniel. The shirts look sweet, man. They really do. It really just screams New York Knicks and being a real one. Shout out to Nathaniel. Shout out to Knicks Galaxy. There was a lot of you guys last week that made it seem like you were buying shirts, but I checked the analytics. Only 10 of them have been sold. Seeps, what do you got to say about that?
First off, I want to say these shirts look sweet.
They are sick shirts, man.
I mean, Nathaniel's rocking it right now. I think he looks incredible.
With the hat. The hat's badass.
The hat is badass. Then, obviously, the legend Knicks Galaxy, I think he looks really good. But last stream, I swear we would have sworn like 20 of them, Marsh. But we only sold 8. But shout out to the guys that actually got them. I mean, if you saw those just walk around the streets in New York, it's kind of like that.
That catches your eye.
It does catch your eye, and you're like, oh shit, is that the Knicks text? And it's like a real one. I like it.
I like it. We'll put them up on screen. You guys can get your. I don't even think I moved that over, but you can get your Real One shirts over at chatsports.com/Real Knicks. That link is in the live chat. I'll move over that graphic real quick. Give me a second here. Get yourself a Real One shirt, a Knicks-themed shirt today. Don't be lacking. Get stacking and get your guys a Knicks Now shirt. Steeps, while I move over this graphic, let me know what you think of the Donovan Mitchell news that came out today.
You know, I feel like Shams was maybe just he just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna turn up the Knicks energy a little bit today. I thought the report was definitely interesting though. You know, that they're sparking back up conversations, but again, who knows? I mean, I thought this trade was gonna be done about 2 weeks ago, but as it keeps going on, the good thing for Knicks fans, Danny Ainge is gonna just get a little more desperate. I know he kind of has this reputation as like, I'm making no trades unless I get exactly what I want. I think as this goes into September, October, November, I think his asking price will keep going down. So overall, good thing.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting that the talks got brought back up. We kind of knew that they've been talking. We've broke it down on the show. Anytime an update comes out about Donovan Mitchell, we get you guys a video. But today being the day, I thought was pretty interesting. He also brought up, and we'll bring up some quotes in a second, about the Knicks and the Jazz potentially almost having a done deal back at the NBA Summer League. We'll get to those quotes in a second. But first, this is the shirt. Get yours today. Chatsports.com/Real Knicks. If you're a real one, get yourself a Real One t-shirt. Because look, you can't really be a real one if you're not rocking the Real One gear. I mean, that would be that's federal, as a Chat Sports employee once said. Get your shirt today. Mine is coming soon. I can't wait to rock it on the show. Chatsports.com/Real Knicks. And everybody that gets a shirt, send me it on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_ or on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_, and we will feature you on the next video like we did with Knicks Galaxy and my guy Nathaniel. But I want to ask you guys this question before we dive deeper and deeper into the latest Donovan Mitchell news. There was a report that came out the other day that once the MSG Sphere, which is going on in Las Vegas, it's going to come around the new expansion team in the NBA, I believe. The report was that James Dolan could look to sell the Knicks and the Rangers. And I just saw a tweet from Tommy Beer, who is one of the best Knicks follows on Twitter. Follow him on Twitter at Tommy Beer. He said he received a quick and direct response from MSG executive regarding recent speculation that owner James Dolan might consider selling the Knicks. And he said that the source said, we have no plans to sell either of the teams. But I want to ask you this question. Do you want James Dolan to sell the Knicks? Do you think he should? Do you want it to happen? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know what you're thinking. Do you think that James Dolan should sell the Knicks? Does James Dolan curse the Knicks? I never really bought into that because the Rangers have been good. They've been a good team. James Dolan owns them. If they can be good, why can the Knicks not be good under James Dolan? I see a whole lot of yeses, though, in the comments section, and that's kind of what I was anticipating. Everybody spamming that Y button, except Sherwin. Sherwin says no. Deshaun says no. Taven says no. SB Brooklyn says no. I don't think that Dolan will sell the Knicks. I think it was an interesting thing that was brought up. But this is a guy the guy that brought it up has been pushing the narrative a couple of times. So maybe he just wants the Knicks to sell it. I don't know. But let me know if you want the Knicks to sell, or the James Dolan to sell the Knicks. Type Y for yes, type N for no. We also have a super chat menu for the show. Kind of changed it up a little bit. Keep you guys on your toes. Still, every super chat equals a shout out. You'll get up on screen. We'll put your picture up on screen. Every $10 super chat equals a Fireball shot. Maybe asking, why are we drinking Fireball? because it's free liquor, and it's my favorite liquor. And that liquor is free liquor, not Fireball. Favorite liquor is free liquor. Favorite beer is free beer. My favorite drink is a free drink. That's what we have at the studio, so that's what we're drinking. Every $100 in Super Chats equals 4 Fireball shots. We used to do 2, but we're upping our game a little bit. We got to keep up with the times and stay cool. And every 100 likes equals a Fireball shot. We got 222 people watching, 41 likes. Once we get to 100 likes, I'll throw back a shot. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. Show your boys some love. Tap in, lock us in. Find a seat. We're going to be live for the next couple of hours, honestly. It's going to be a blast. Shout out to Patrick Seatman in the chat. He was ready to go home from work today. And I said, yo, Seeps, are you down to stay and produce Knicks Live? And he said, I got you. And that makes Patrick Seatman a real one. Type your P's in the chat because Patrick, he's pushing P, and he's a real one.
Marsh, there's only one channel I would have agreed to do this with.
That's right. That's why you're my co-host here on New York Knicks Now, baby. That's right. I also want to show some love to the Super Chat Ring of Honor. We've had some guys. Patrick Seatman does love the Knicks. He's from Chicago. But we got some P's coming in the chat from Slick Rich, Webb, Connor, Valentina. Carl might like Seatman, Patrick Seatman, more than me, and I have no problems with that. But I want to give a shout out to the Super Chat Ring of Honor. Past couple of weeks, we've been going live on Knicks Now, and I always wanted to find a way to show love to people that spend big on the Super Chats. You guys make these shows fun, you make them possible, and you show my boss that what I'm doing here on this channel is something that you enjoy and you want more of. So I want to give a shout out to Jason B., the Super Chat legend here at New York Knicks Now. I also want to shout out Chris Epham, Charlie, SB Gorilla. He got the chat lit last week. Big L also was carrying the chat last week. Jason B and Chris F them weren't in the chat last week. So SB Gorilla and Big L said, they're not here, no problem. Put Knicks Now Nation on my back, and they did that. And Knicks Galaxy is also hanging in the top 10 of the top 10 Super Chat Ring of Honor with a $25 super. If you Super Chat a lot, if you do one more of these, if you put yourself in the stratosphere, we'll put you on the graphic for next week. We also got a mailbag coming up in today's show. Actually, 2 different mailbags. So use hashtag Knicks or send in a Super Chat to get on the live show. If you have a question that you want me to answer on today's show, just go down in the comments section, use hashtag Knicks so our software can put it up and put it up on screen. And all Super Chats get up on the show so you can skip the line, kind of like the fast pass at Disney. We'll start drinking. We'll start having a good time. 203 people watching, 65 likes. Hit that like button, and let's roll.
Make my job easier. Ask a question, pop on that hashtag Knicks. I can log it in my software, and then bam.
100%. If you don't use hashtag Knicks, you're going to make the life of Patrick Seatman much harder. And we don't want that to be a thing. We want it to be easy going, easy lucky for our guy Seatman.
Any question about the Knicks?
Anything you got. If you want to ask me something personal.
If you could go personal. You ask it right now, I can log it in there. Hit it back at the end of stream, and then also you'll be re-uploaded on YouTube in the mailbag. Hashtag Knicks, ask any question, makes my life a whole lot easier.
Yes, sir. You heard the man. I just got a text from someone that just says SMH. I don't know what that means. That's usually not a good thing. But if you got a question, Pudge said bro drunk. No, we're not drunk yet. We are built like tanks here at Chat Sports. We don't actually get drunk. So if you want to put it to the test, you want to get us to start, throwing back some shots, we'll do that. All Super Chats gets on show. All Super Chats get on the show. But if you're ready to get the show started, to go over the latest Donovan Mitchell news and rumors, we got a segment on why a Donovan Mitchell trade is not another Carmelo Anthony trade. And we got 2 live mailbags coming up. If you're ready for the show, I want you to like this video. We're at 72 likes. Once we get to 100 likes, me and Seatman will take a shot to get things rolling, and we'll also get the show rolling. Seeps is telling me in my ear that we shouldn't start the show until we get to 100 likes. We're 75 likes away. Now 80 likes. Seeps, do you think they can do it?
There's not a chance I'm starting this show until we get to 100 likes.
Let's go. Let's go. I see my guy Carl's asking a question. Antonio, Marvin. If you have a question and you want to get it on the show, make sure you use hashtag Knicks in the comment section. 87 likes. We are 13 likes away from 100 likes. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. My guy Marvin said he's taking shots with us once we get to 100 likes. Marvin, that, my friend, makes you an official real one. Will the Thrill, what up, my guy? Thomas, mad love. Carl, you're the GOAT. Will says, Marsh, we here, my guy. Let's ride. 98 likes. I'm just going to start pouring up the shots because I know you guys are going to answer the bell. And what do you know? There we are having the time of our lives. Let's ride.
We'll take these shots together.
Yeah, let's take them together, Seeps. You're doing a great job. Shout out, Seeps. Type P in the chat. Let's roll.
Also, shout out to my guys who are using hashtag Knicks in the comment. Carl, shout out to you.
Carl is one of the realest ones on the channel, no doubt about it. Carl's been around since like 1,000 subs. What's going on? Producer Brett, if we want to type F Brett in the chat, we can do that because he removed Knicks Live from Wednesdays. For 100 likes, though, let's ride. You guys are real ones. I was told we could always blame the bosses. Let's ride, though. Today's going to be a fun show. We have a Donovan Mitchell update from Shams Charania to get to. We're going to break all that down. We also have a segment coming up on why a Donovan Mitchell trade is not another Carmelo Anthony trade. Because I've realized a lot of times when we do our Donovan Mitchell trade videos on this channel, I go back home, get off work, get to the crib, cook some dinner, go back and look at some YouTube comments, and everyone's like, this is another Carmelo trade. Why would we do that? Why are we going to trade all the young kids? Blah, 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 blah. We're going to debunk that today on today's show. Why a Donovan Mitchell trade is not a Carmelo Anthony trade. Webb, my guy, just said he purchased his Real One shirt. That makes you a real one. Shout out Webb in the chat. And Angelo says, dare you to try Knob Creek. What is Knob Creek? Is that a liquor?
I'm not sure what that is. It sounds like a liquor.
Yeah. Carl says F Brett in the chat. That's right, Carl. He tried to get Knicks Live off the schedule at work. I said it ain't happening. The Knicks fans deserve a live show every single week, and we're going to do it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to continue to go. Joe Curry and Eric, yeah, I thought it was a whiskey. Let's ride. Let me check the sub numbers. Because before we started, we were about 10 subs away from getting to 12,000 subs on the channel. Let me see where we're at. We're still 6 subs away. That's rookie stuff. You know what?
Sub-only chat?
I'm changing the chat right now. We don't usually do this. But I wanna do this. Give me 1 second. Let me make a weigh-in real quick before we get the official show started. I want to show love to all of the subs out there.
6 subs away. I know that.
Who's gonna be the 12,000th subscriber?
See, now everybody's gonna be hanging around clicking sub unsub until they're the 12,000th guy. But yeah, 6 away. I guarantee there's 6 people in here who are not subbed. Yeah, shout out to everybody who's already got questions in. If you have questions, we have 2 mailbags coming up. Use hashtag Knicks in any form. Ask any questions about NBA, about the Knicks, and you will be on the show later.
My guy Dripmore says he subbed the F up. That's what I love to hear, baby. I just put a weigh-in at the very, very bottom of the sheet. Monte's in the chat. What's good, my guy? I was wondering when you were going to pop in. Antonio says LFG just subbed from Kid. Let's do this. If you're a subscriber, I want you to type me in the comment section right now. You could type real one. You could type me. If you are a subscriber, I want you to type me in the comment section right now. I'm going to go to my live look at the subscriber count. And we already did it. 12,000 subscribers on Knicks Now. Let's frickin' go. We've doubled this channel's sub count in the last 3 months, and my boss had the nuts to tell me, are you sure your sub numbers speak for themselves? Yeah, I'm damn sure. Doubled the channel's subs in the past 3 months. Let's ride. 12,000 subs on the channel. You guys, everyone that's hit that big red button over the past couple of months are some real ones. Let's go. The Nets could never. 12,000 subs. That is awesome. Let's ride, man. It's been a long journey. Shout out to everybody that's hit that big red button. I'm going to throw back a shot because I'm just going to celebrate a little bit. 12,000 subs on the channel. And my guy Patrick Seatman is going to drink one with me. And then we will get to the Donovan Mitchell trade rumors because that's the reason of today's show. Let's go. Show some love. Let's ride.
12K.
To 12K.
Shout out to the best fans, besides Bulls.
Not 3K, no Andre. I'm talking just 12K. Let's ride.
This one's for Carl.
For Carl. Monte said he's taking a shot. My guy Marvin, I know, is drinking with me. Triple life. Hashtag anything is possible. If you stayed last week and stayed really, really late, you guys got behind the scenes footage. And I showed you guys a video from a couple years ago of me drinking that hen dog in the club. It was pretty elite.
I forgot about that. That was one of the best videos that's probably ever shown to me, and it was on Knicks Live. You guys should have seen Marshall in the club. He was.
Imagine this being the Henny and me just.
Yeah, Marshall was off the hen that night. It was fantastic.
It was my birthday. We had a section. Jalen Smith, if you know who that was smoking a bleezy in the section next to me. It was a party. It was cool. All righty. Are we ready to talk about Donovan Mitchell and what the report was today? If we are, we can get to it. This will be a nice, easy cut. Not even a real cut. It'll just be a nice, easy combo. Let's do it, though. Let's talk about the Donovan Mitchell, the latest is. And the latest is that Shams Charania is reporting that the Knicks and the Jazz have recently re-engaged in trade talks centered around Donovan Mitchell. And that's kind of big news because the Knicks and the Jazz haven't talked in a couple of weeks. And it sounded like at one point that this trade was dead. I never stopped believing, but this was the full quote from Shams Charania. We'll break it down and we'll read it to you. He said, after several weeks of no conversations, the New York Knicks and Utah Jazz recently re-engaged in talks centered on Donovan Mitchell. The Knicks and Jazz had a fresh trade conversation within the past week about potential packages for Donovan Mitchell. There is no traction between the two teams on a deal, and no Mitchell trade is imminent for the Jazz. The Charlotte Hornets and Washington Wizards also are among the teams pursuing Mitchell. He also said, throughout trade talks, the Knicks have made their interest in Mitchell abundantly clear. One source with knowledge of the situation said the Knicks and Jazz seriously discussed a Donovan Mitchell trade during the NBA's Las Vegas Summer League in mid-July. But talks stalled out and led to nearly a month of inactivity between the two sides. Now, with training camp just over 1 month away, the sides have reignited talks, but there still is hurdles towards a deal remains. There may be hurdles, but Leon Rose is about to be a track star because he's about to hurdle all over those hurdles, and this deal is going to get done. I truly believe that. Is it going to be today? No. Is it going to be tomorrow? Probably not. Will it be next week? No, but when training camp gets going in mid-September, the Jazz do not want to enter training camp with a brand new head coach and a disgruntled superstar going into training camp. And the big reason I believe that a trade gets done is because both sides have what the other wants. What do the Knicks want? They want a box office superstar that they can put their face, the player's face, as the face of this franchise. That's Donovan Mitchell. He has ties to CAA. He's tight with Leon Rose. He's their guy. Why do the Jazz want to do this trade? Because the Jazz want what the Knicks have, and that's expiring money and Cam Reddish and Derrick Rose. That's a lot of picks. The Knicks can trade 8 first-round picks over the next 7 years. And also, the Knicks have young assets that the Jazz like, in Quentin Grimes, Obi Toppin, and Emmanuel Quickley. I'd only give up one of those guys in a trade, but when side A has what side B wants and side B has what side A wants, that is when a deal usually always gets done. But if you want Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks, if you want to see the Spider wearing the blue in the orange at the Mecca, if you want to hear it, Mike Breen yelling bang after a Donovan Mitchell trade, I want you to type 45 in the comment section right now. You want Mitchell on the Knicks? Type 45 in the comment section right now. And shout out to Jason B for getting the party started. A $25 super chat. Jason B is a legend here. He said, Knicks, Quickley, Grimes, Reddish, 5 picks, 2 unprotected for Donovan. Randall for Westbrook, sign Carmelo Anthony. Sign me up. I would love to do that. I'd hate to see Quickley go. I'd hate to see Grimes go, but I would do it. In that case, you get to keep Obi Toppin. You only traded 2 unprotected picks. You stay flexible. If you want to make another trade in the coming years, you could trade 2 of those protected picks as well. And I think ultimately if the Knicks do trade for Donovan Mitchell, they will trade our guy Julius Randle. I do think he gets traded if the Knicks trade for Donovan Mitchell. And I would love to sign Carmelo Anthony and see him end his career with the New York Knicks. I'm going to take one shot right now, Jason B., and I'll take another one in a second. But I want to continue to break down these latest news and rumors. Let me take this shot. Jason, salute to you, bro. You always bring the fire. You make me look good in front of my bosses. I appreciate you. Shams Charania also said this. He said, the Jazz have maintained they are comfortable keeping Donovan Mitchell into the season and potentially beyond due to him having 3 years remaining on his contract. Tony Jones, who covers the Utah Jazz for The Athletic, he put this out a couple of weeks ago, probably last week at this point. He was on the Michael Scotto Hoops Hype podcast, and he said this. He said, the Jazz think they have multiple roads back to being the team they were a couple of years ago. Remember, that team a couple of years ago was the number 1 team in the Western Conference going into the playoffs. So he thinks they can get to that, back to that. And they already have 3 first-round picks by the end of next season. Remember, all of those picks are heavily protected, except their own pick, the Utah Jazz. And if they hold on to all of their veterans, they'll have $36 to $40 million in cap room. So you heard Shams and you heard Tony Jones say that the Jazz are not out on the idea of holding on to Donovan Mitchell. Let's break down, though, why I think that's absolute bullshit. You can tell me that they're willing to build around Donovan Mitchell, but they haven't made one winning move this offseason that says we're willing to build around Donovan Mitchell. My question is, Tony Jones, he mentioned $40 million in cap space. Who the hell is signing with Utah in NBA free agency? Could you imagine any NBA superstar willing to pick up where they left off and go play for Utah and the Jazz? Not a chance. There's also a report that Donovan Mitchell is leaving in 2025 NBA free agency. So what player is going to sign in free agency with the Utah Jazz and try to win a chip when they know that Donovan Mitchell is going to leave in a couple of years? Also, the trade package for Rudy Gobert shows me that the Jazz are not trying to win right now. Because after the Jazz made that trade, there is no arguing that they are a worse basketball team. They traded the best defensive player in the NBA according to the awards in Rudy Gobert. And they got back Walker Kessler, Michael Beasley, and multiple first-round picks. That didn't make them better today. That makes them better going forward in years down the line. So what about if you try and trade for a superstar if you're the Utah Jazz? Because if you're trying to get back to being that number 1 team in the Western Conference, you're going to have to add talent to this roster. So what about trading for a superstar? Well, the Knicks, if they don't get Donovan Mitchell, are going to be even more so all in on the next superstar that becomes available. And remember, the Knicks have 8 7 first-round picks, 8 first-round picks that they can trade over the next 7 years. And Utah, they are not even close to coming up with what the New York Knicks could offer in a trade. So you can't beat the Knicks trade package. And maybe they meant that they are willing to keep Donovan Mitchell to trade him, because there's no way you're keeping Donovan Mitchell to win. Because think about it. You have 3 years left on his deal. That sounds like a really, really long time, right? Well, this year, you've already punted. You haven't made one winning move. Boom. So you only have 2 years left of Donovan Mitchell now. Maybe, sure, you want to go all in the season of 2023, but after that, he's on an expiring deal. How are you going to make trades and go all in free agency to build around Donovan Mitchell when the rumors out there are that he's going to leave in 2025? Danny Ainge and all the Utah Jazz beat reporters, they can tell me that they're willing to hold on to Donovan Mitchell, but I call cap. I call BS. I will believe it when I see it. I ain't buying the bullshit that either of them are selling. So I want to ask you guys this question. Who has the leverage in this deal? Is it the Knicks? Is it Utah? Let me know what you think. Type NYK for the Knicks or UTAH for Utah. Let me know. I'm looking at the comment section. You guys are already being active. And I see my guy Knicks Galaxy is in the chat. Pop his picture up on screen, because I don't think Knicks Galaxy was here to start today's show. But as you know, he's a real one, and I want to give him some love. Shout out to my guy, one of the first people to get his New York Knicks Now Real Ones t-shirt. My guy, I wish I could just dap you up right here. I appreciate everybody that buys their shirts. I know my guy Nathaniel did as well. You can get yourself a shirt at chatsports.com/realknicks. That's chatsports.com/realknicks. Shout out to my guy, Knicks Galaxy 1993. I just don't really get the idea that the Jazz are willing to build around Donovan Mitchell. If you want to pop up to screen here and we can go back and forth a little bit. I just don't see it. And I know I gave 5 reasons, and there's more than that, but Seeps, you're a neutral. You like the Knicks because you produce Knicks Now, but you are a Bulls fan. We'll be transparent, so you're not going to have a biased take here. What do you think about all this? Are they bluffing? Do you think they're actually willing to build around him? What do you think?
So the only reason I think they would keep him is the All-Star games in Utah this year. So I could see, like, maybe the owner of the Jazz kind of being like,
we need a star.
Yeah, like, we need a star. Like, we can't – because if you trade Mitchell, the Jazz most likely won't have an All-Star in their home All-Star game. So I don't know how much, like, impact or leverage I guess that has. But, I mean, if you look at it, there's no reason they shouldn't move off him right now. They're going to get the best trade package they can get.
The longer you wait,
right
if you
now.
wait till the trade deadline or you wait till next season – you're theoretically going to get a worse offer because he's not going to be as controlled on his contract. Yeah. He's 3 years now. Next year will be 2, and the year after that will be 1. And I think as that number gets closer to 0, you lose out on value for him.
Yeah, the only thing I can think is the All-Star, because I was trying to think about, like, what real advantage do they have? Because, like, if they keep Donovan Mitchell, they're still going to win 30, 35.
Exactly, and I forgot to say this. They may have 3 picks going into the 2023 draft, but it's a pick from Brooklyn, and I think the other pick is from somebody else, and none of them are going to be lottery picks. They're heavily protected. Their only good first-round pick is their own. And if you keep Donovan Mitchell and you win 30, 35 games, you're messing up that draft pick.
You know, Marsh, I think that's the best point you make is them trading Donovan Mitchell increases their own draft pick through the roof. I mean,
yep.
Victor Wembanyama, the fact that he is this – I mean, if you guys don't know, Victor Wembanyama is like he's incredible. He's like the 7'5".
Imagine Rudy Gobert and Kevin Durant having a baby.
That's perfect. No, literally, like, this dude is one of the best prospects since LeBron. So again, I don't see it. Maybe the All-Star game. That's the only thing I can really think of.
And Webb says the All-Star game in Utah would have a fake vibe to it as far as the Jazz go. I just don't see a situation. Kevin Middleton says cap on the Jazz building around Mitchell. I 100% agree with you, Kevin, for all the reasons we've outlined, and probably the biggest one that I didn't even mention. Their most valuable asset is their own first-round pick. And if they hold on to Donovan Mitchell, that pick is going to get worse. He says that would take them out of a top. Exactly, Kevin. We are on the same page here. What's the point of drafting 11th through 14th? Nothing. You may think, well, Rudy, Giannis, he was drafted top 15. Donovan Mitchell, he was drafted 12th, whatever it was.
Kawhi was 14th.
If it's that easy to find a guy that's picked in the mid-round to be a superstar, the Knicks would have done it time and time again. Every team in the NBA would have a guy on their team that was selected in the mid part of the first round. It's not that easy. It's easier to rebuild when you pick closer to number one. That is just the facts. Those are the guys that have the most talent. Monty says, yeah, Victor is going to be special. He is. If you haven't checked him out, just YouTube Victor Wembanyama highlights. He is legit a 7'3" walking guy that can put it on the deck like Kevin Durant. He is incredible. Margaret says, I don't think anything is done. Knicks want to keep their own picks. They do. They do want to keep their own picks. They can trade 4 of their own future first-round picks. You can only go up to 7 years when trading first-round picks, and you have to alternate years. You can't trade back-to-back first-round picks. So they have 4 unprotected first-round picks they can trade. They don't want to trade all of them. You're 100% right, Margaret. They want to keep a couple in the chamber in case another superstar becomes available. If you trade 4, and let's say Jaylen Brown becomes available, you don't want to be ass out of luck and not have assets to go make a move. The Knicks want to stay flexible because remember, in the summer of 2025, the NBA cap is going to rise $40 million. It's going to reset the market. The last time that happened was the summer where Kevin Durant signed with the Golden State Warriors. You are going to see a lot of teams spend a lot of money and have cap space even though their roster is full. Knicks want to stay flexible and be able to add that third all-star, potentially next to Brunson and Donovan Mitchell, and maybe even R.J. Barrett. We are going to get to a mailbag here in a second.
Make my life easy, guys. Hashtag Knicks. Put your comments in there. Hashtag Knicks. What do you think about R.J. Barrett? Hashtag Knicks. Over under 24.5 points for Jalen Brunson. Anything you got. You want over under 39.5 wins for the Knicks. Hashtag Knicks. Whatever you're thinking, make my life easier. Put it in there, and then I'll be able to pull them to the software and push them out.
Hashtag Knicks if you have a question. Also, Webb put something really good in the chat. He says, Knicks gave them an offer. Jazz went out looking for better and found nothing, so they back on, and the Don going to win this 100%. The Jazz know that the best offer out there for Donovan Mitchell is the New York Knicks. They tried to find other teams that can beat it. If they found one that can beat it, they would have already made that trade. The trade hasn't happened, which means that they can't find another better offer. There's been reports that 6 teams have been interested. That's BS. That's just Utah trying to drive up a narrative that Donovan Mitchell is really wanted by a lot of teams, but there's really no other team besides the New York Knicks that's willing to go all in. I think a team that could compete trade package-wise is the Toronto Raptors, but are they willing to give up 3-4 first-round picks and OG Anunoby? That doesn't seem like a Masai Ujiri type of move.
No, not at all. And I saw today, like, the Charlotte Hornets being included. Like, come on. Like, the Hornets, they're not giving
Who is the
LaMelo.
best player in that trade? Who can they offer? They ain't trading LaMelo. Like
Terry Rose. I mean, but
Book Knight?
Yeah, Book Knight, I guess. But
you know what that trade offer is? It's shit.
Yeah, no.
That's why they haven't made that trade with the Hornets.
I mean, unless Charlotte, I don't even think they have a ton of draft picks because of the rule where you can only trade like one per year, or not back-to-back years.
Oh, yeah, they could trade LiAngelo Ball. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matthew says the Hornets don't have picks either. They don't.
I think so, yeah.
They don't.
And about the Raptors, they're definitely not giving up Scotty Barnes. He's untouchable for them. And OG, I mean, he's damn near on. Like, the way they feel about the way the Raptors feel about OG Anunoby is very similar to how Knicks fans kind of feel about RJ.
Yep. Let me give me a second here. I want to pull up this thing that says what. Let me see if I can find
shout out
it.
to you guys. I see a lot of hashtag Knicks in there. Really appreciate it. Keep them coming. You guys are going to be right back on the screen soon. I'm pulling them all in right now. Yep. Another one just came in from Greg. Greg, Webb, Marvin, Knicks Galaxy, Jason B, Monte, Marvin again. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, guys. You're making my life a lot easier.
There is, though, a line building up, correct? Of questions, hashtag Knicks. There's a long line. If you want to skip the line, you can super chat. We're at $27 in supers, 340 people watching, 142 likes. Once we get to 200 likes, we'll take a shot. And every time we get to $100 in super chats, it is going wild on our Raiders live broadcast, I'll tell you that much. But I'm ready to get into a mailbag whenever you are, Seeps. Whenever you are, I am ready. We can roll. After this mailbag, we have another mailbag coming up, so if your question doesn't get featured, Hold on, stay in tune. We'll get to your question. And then we have a segment on a lot of people are saying that a Carmelo Anthony trade or a Donovan Mitchell trade is another Carmelo Anthony trade. I call cap on that. We'll talk about that. But let's get into this Knicks rumors mailbag right now. Yo, what's up, Knicks fans? You're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. In today's show, I'm going to be answering your guys' questions, which came from our live show. Subscribe and turn your notifications on, because we only answer subscribers' questions, and you're only going to be able to join the live show if you have your notifications on. So do that right now, because my guy Marvin Daniels, he's a subscriber. He's a real one, and I know he's got his noties on. He said, when we get Mitchell in the trade, who are you picking to take a last-second shot? Evan, Mitchell, or RJ? Well, it's not going to be Evan Fournier. If I have RJ Barrett and Donovan Mitchell on this team, I'm not going to rely on a guy like Evan Fournier to make a game-winning shot. I would put Jalen Brunson up there as well. The beautiful part about this team, if you have Brunson, Mitchell, and RJ Barrett, who's ever open and whoever has the best shot, I believe in those guys to take it. They're all clutch players. They all rise. When the game is on the line, Brunson plays his best. RJ Barrett plays his best, and so does Donovan Mitchell. I trust all of them to make the shot. Any of them that are open, I'm down with it. But if I had to power rank it, I would honestly go Donovan Mitchell, RJ Barrett, then Jalen Brunson. I just think RJ's got that dog in him to knock down a game winner like he did against the Boston Celtics. Marvin, shout out to you, bro. Another real one coming in, Arrow Man Pro Rican. What up, my guy? He said, if we get Donovan, will the Knicks be a more attractive team for other stars or superstars to demand? Absolutely. Stars attract stars. This is a star league, and we're in an era of player control and player movement. Great players nowadays want to play with other great players. And if you have a roster of RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, and Mitchell Robinson as your core four, that is very attractive for, let's say, a small forward or a power forward to come along and play on that team. Stars want to play with stars. Getting Jalen Brunson was the first step. Now you have RJ Barrett going into year 4. Can he become an all-star level player? I love RJ. If you know this show, watch this show. I believe he can. And then you got Mitchell. Mitchell, Brunson, Barrett. That is a threesome. Pause. That is going to attract a lot of stars to New York. Fabian Williams, what up, bro? He said, how about a New York Knicks, Boston, Brooklyn trade? Knicks get Jaylen Brown, Boston gets KD, and the Nets get Randall, Reddish, Smart, White, and picks. I think the Nets hang up in your face. I don't think you're getting enough back for a guy like Kevin Durant. It'd have to be like 6, 7, 8 first-round picks. I love Jaylen Brown. I think the trade rumors were blown out of proportion a little bit. They kind of got walked back by the Boston Celtics. I only think Jaylen Brown is available in a trade if the Celtics are going to get Kevin Durant in return. I like the idea of it on paper. I'd love to see Jaylen Brown with the Knicks. I just don't know if Brooklyn would be cool with getting Julius Randle, Cam Reddish, Marcus Smart, White, and picks in return for a guy like Kevin Durant. I think if they trade Kevin Durant and he goes to Boston, they're going to want Jaylen Brown. That's what a smart organization would do. But hey, it is the Brooklyn Nets. You could type FBKN if you want to in the comment section. Greg, what up, fam? He said, Knicks need to get Donovan Mitchell. Basketball is better when the New York Knicks are good. Yes, it is. Basketball. The NBA is a better league when the Knicks are good. They play on Christmas, and they're not all that good. They're going to be on opening night, and they're not all that good. They're the number one most expensive franchise in the NBA, and we have one playoff series win since 2002, 2001. It's been a while. This team is the face of the NBA, in my opinion, and if they ever get good, watch out, because Knicks fans are going to come out of the woodworks. But remember, you've been around forever, and you're a real one. So don't fall to the fake Knicks fans out there. But I want to ask you this question, Greg, and everybody watching the show. Is Donovan Mitchell a top 15 player in the NBA? Do you think he's a guy that can be the number one on a team? Is he a top 15 player in the NBA? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm curious what all the Knicks Now real ones think. Let me know in the comments. Monte, he's a real one. He tunes in every single week. He says, I think RJ has his best season this year. I'm right there with you, man. Year 4, RJ is going to be a movie. The development has been crazy. In the final 42 games of the season this past year, RJ Barrett averaged 23.5 points per game. I don't think he's going to average that many points with Jalen Brunson, especially if you get Donovan Mitchell on this team. But it's not the points per game that I'm more so worried about with a guy like RJ Barrett. It's the efficiency. Shot 41.5% from the deck and like 34% from three. I want to see him get closer to 45% from the field and closer to 38% from three. And I think with having a point guard and Jalen Brunson that's going to set the table and get guys involved and get them the ball in their spots where they're most effective, RJ Barrett is going to be a beneficiary of that, and I could easily see him having his best year of his NBA career this year. Monte, salute to you, bro. You're a real one. Earl, or Errol, what up, man? He said, I think the Knicks are waiting for the players in the Minnesota-Utah trade to be available to enhance the trade package, whether it includes LA or Utah. Yeah, so the players that went from Minnesota to the Utah Jazz, I don't think they could be traded to early September. You got to be on a team 2 months before you can get traded. I've seen this rumor out there a lot. Beasley could be in the trade, maybe Vanderbilt, maybe a guy like Patrick Beverly. So that could be a holdup for sure. But you could agree to the framework of the deal before it becomes actually set in stone. So they could have agreed on the framework and it not been official until those players were to be available. But it could be a holdup. I could see it. Inevitably, I think this deal gets done. Both sides have what each other wants. So, Earl, I think you're on the right track there. Nice Mello 007 says, I'm not worried. Knicks have the best wholesale. Yes, they do. We will land Mitchell. Jazz, no, we are the gold mine. 100%, no doubt about it. No team can offer what we can with 8 tradable first-round picks over the next 7 years. We also have young players that they're interested in, Obi, Grimes, and Emmanuel Quickly. They want Derrick Rose, someone that's on a $14 million expiring deal. Cam Reddish is also on a $5 million expiring deal. There's no doubt about it that Knicks have the best offer because the Knicks gave the Jazz an offer and the Jazz said we're going to go shop around and if we find a better deal, we're going to do it. Deal hasn't been done, which means that there's no offer better out there for the New York Knicks. I want to ask you guys this question though. If the Knicks land Donovan Mitchell, what are they? Let's say the starting lineup is Brunson, Barrett, Mitchell, Obi and Mitchell Robinson. Let's say that is the starting 5. What are the Knicks? Type 1 for playoff, type 2 for play-in. Are they a playoff team? Are they play-in team? Let me know what you think. If the Knicks get Donovan Mitchell, are they a playoff or a play-in team? Let me know in the comments down below. Marvin, he said, when we get Mitchell, what is the best place to trade Randall besides the Lakers? I don't necessarily think there's an opportune place for Julius Randle in a trade. I think the best spot is the Los Angeles Lakers. He has ties there, started his career there. If I had to say another team, maybe the Charlotte Hornets. They could use a power forward after that shit-face did what he did and got himself kicked out of the NBA. I'm not going to say his name on this show, but you know who I'm talking about. Maybe they need a power forward after that. But I really think if there was a team that really wanted Julius Randle out there, the Knicks would have traded him, but they're not going to sell him for pennies on the dollar. They're going to want a lot of value for him, and unless they trade for Donovan Mitchell. Then they'll look for a salary dump where they can trade for Russell Westbrook and then buy him out. I really don't really see. I mean, the Kings, because it's the Kings, and they're stupid, and it's the Kings. Maybe that, I don't know. Who'd you say? Trailblazers. I thought that could have been more of an opportunity before Jeremy Grant got traded there, but I'd go with the Lakers and the Hornets, and then after that, kind of a crapshoot. Webb, my guy, a real one. He said, Obi, 20 and 10 with proper minutes, plus he will bring excitement to the Garden. If Obi's going to average 20 and 10, he's going to have to start and play about 35 minutes per game. I'm not worried about the 20. I'm worried about the 10. He's not an elite rebounder. He's not a bad rebounder. But if Obi Toppin is, say, the starter at the 4 spot next to Brunson, Barrett, Mitchell, and Mitchell Robinson, can he give you 12 points per game, 8 rebounds, and shoot 50+% from the field and 35% from downtown? Get a steal, get a block, push the pace, get easy buckets. I think that's what you're looking for with Obi. I'm all in on Obi Toppin. I think he's going to be a great player. But we have to realize he is 24 years old. Donovan Mitchell's 25. He's not going to be the holdup in a trade for me. I used to think that way. But you know what? I want Quentin Grimes on this team instead of Obi Toppin. And that hurts me to say because I do love me some Obi Toppin. If you haven't yet, Go down right now, hit that big red button. We just crossed over 12,000 subscribers on the channel. 13K, we're coming for you. Let's do it for Mark Jackson. Hit that big red button. Go down, hit it. Yeah, that thing right there, you hitting that? You hitting that? Yeah, you hitting that. Hit that big red button. Let's get to 13,000 subscribers. Marvin Daniels says, wins with Mitchell, over under 42. Right now, the win total in Las Vegas is 39.5. And I think Donovan Mitchell is worth 2.5 wins for sure. So I would say over 42 wins. I think you could push for 46, 47 wins if you trade for Donovan Mitchell. You won 37 games last year, and that's with Evan Fournier and Alec Burks as your 1 and 2. You replace them with Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell. I think that gets you 10 more wins. I think 42 over all day. I'll take that to the bank. Let's ride. Jaden, what's good? He said, would you extend RJ if he significantly regresses this season? Yeah, I would, because he's still just 22 years old. Would it affect how much he's worth? No doubt about it. I wouldn't pay him the max contract. I'm already kind of hesitant to pay him that 5 years, $180 million. But I mean, I'm sure he wants the max, and he's going to come out there and perform like it and play like it. RJ Barrett has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to secure that bag. He's done things in the NBA that a lot of other people at the age of 21 haven't. I'm all in on RJ. Type 9 in the comments section to show RJ Barrett some love. If he plays bad, I'd still extend him. It'd just be at a much cheaper rate, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to go out this year, and like the kids say, he's going to secure the bag. Last question on this sack. Shout out to my guy Kirill. I think I said that right. Obi plus Jalen might be fun. Thoughts on Mello coming and starting? Possible. I only think the Knicks sign Carmelo Anthony if they trade for Donovan Mitchell. I don't really think there's a spot on this roster if they don't trade for Donovan Mitchell, because you're already 13 deep on this roster, and you kind of have a log jam of wings at the off the bench. You're going to have to deal with Fournier, Reddish, and Grimes. Two of those guys are going to come off the bench. Then you got Obi Toppin and Mitchell Robinson and Hartenstein. Like, there's a lot of numbers on this team. I think if you trade for Donovan Mitchell, then for sure Carmelo Anthony is an option. But if you don't, I don't think it is. No doubt about it. But Kirill, I appreciate your question. You're a real one. And if you made it this far in the video, I want you to type real one in the comment section, because all the real ones finish every single video. So if you're a real one, you right there. Yeah, you right there. If you're a real one, drop a real one in the comments right now. Let's go! Let's go! Where are my real ones at?
Shout out to everybody using hashtag Knicks, by the way. Made that really easy on me. Shout out to you guys.
Shout out to everybody that's doing what they got to do. We're at 160 likes, which means we are 40 likes away from a fireball shot. I owe Jason B another shot now that I think about it. So I'm going to take a shot. Every $10 super chat, we'll take a shot. Look, I'm here after work. I got to work today at 9:30. It's 7:30 local time. We're going on hour number 10. If me and Seeps are going to have to be at work this late, we might as well drink. We might as well drink.
No reason not to right now. Especially we got all these faithful Knicks fans just driving comments. 360 people live right now. They're probably getting off work. I wonder if our boy Rich Robinson is watching in his car right now.
Rich Rob's going to pop in. I know he will. He's a real one. Let's roll. We are 33 likes away from another shot. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. 361 people watching. Give me a sec. I want to take a look at the live sub number and see where we're at. Because we were just shy of 12,000 subscribers, but we passed that. It's gone backwards. Hold on. Are people unsubscribing? We were above 12,001 at one point, weren't we?
I mean, at least from what I
Did
remember,
YouTube clear some subs? I don't know. If you haven't yet, though, and you're watching today's video, because I doubt all 343 of you guys are subscribed. If you're not, hit that big red button right now. We put out videos every single day on the latest Knicks news and rumors. We go live. We chop it up with you guys. It's a lot of fun. Another lost subscriber. We're down to 12,000. Are we going to fall under 12,000 subs? I don't know.
hope not.
Subscribe, hit that big red button. I don't know if I can handle being under 12,000 subs. Like, we already crossed it, and we're back down to 12,000 exactly. Hit that big red button. Videos every single day. $10 super chat equals a fireball shot. $100 in supers equals 4 fireball shots. We are $70 away from getting to $100 in supers. I love to get some shots rolling. And remember, every 100 likes equals a shot. We're 16 likes away. Hit that thumbs up icon for the squad. Shout out to King Matthews rolling in with the super chat. He says, would you keep Cam or Grimes in your opinion? This might upset some people, but it's Quentin Grimes, and it's really not all that close. I see the potential with Cam Reddish, no doubt about it. Silky smooth, 6'8" wing, can put it on the deck, score left hand, right hand, score from the mid-range, a tough bucket getter, a tough shot taker, and a tough shot maker. You need those in the NBA. But Quentin Grimes has already showed you in his rookie season that he can be a serviceable piece on a winning team, a 3-and-D guy, and those are the guys that you're looking for in the NBA. People that can guard and shoot the three at a high clip. He shot it at 40% as a rook. That's impressive. I don't know, Seeps, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Marsh, I told you this the other day. Cam Reddish, see him at the park hooping up and down, you would think he's a top 10 guy in the league. I mean, he is so silky smooth, but he just hasn't really shown it at the NBA level. And I think guys like that, they're tricky because you could either be like a guy like, I don't know, like Lou Will, who's super smooth, and you see him at the park, you're like, dude, this dude's 20 a game in the NBA. But then you have a guy like Cam Reddish, again, obviously totally different games. But you have a guy like Cam Reddish, you see him at the park, his 6'8" size, can pull up from 35, but he's just not consistent enough for me personally.
King Matthews, who are you rolling with? Would you rather have Cam or Grimes? Let me know. But it's Grimes for me. I kind of just think what he brings to the squad is more of a winning basketball player. I think at his peak, I'll say it like this. Cam Reddish has a higher ceiling, no doubt about it. But the floor for Quentin Grimes is a lot higher than a guy like Cam Reddish.
And I feel like Quentin Grimes, if you do trade for Donovan Mitchell, he'll be okay with just going catch and shoot on playing defense.
And being the number one defender guarding the other team's number one wing.
Cam Reddish, I just don't really see the dog that a guy like Quentin Grimes have. And plus, I think Quentin Grimes, he just feels more New York to me. Obviously, I'm looking in from the outside. But a 3-and-D guy, I would much rather prefer Quentin Grimes on the Bulls. I mean, if I had a guy like Quentin Grimes on the Bulls, that'd be a great fit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely over Cam Reddish.
So, Jason, if you see that comment, it was a couple ago. Jason Camacho. If you see that one, I'd like to pull it up. Because, yeah, I don't know what you mean by this. But he says, you're doing this as a school project, not as a fan. That's why. Well, I hope you're sitting down for this, Jason. This is my job. This is my career. I work for a company called Chat Sports. I graduated college back in 2020. Unless I'm already really drunk off this fireball, it's 2022. So unless you're just being a hater and trying to be funny, I get it. But I am a Knicks fan. I'm a die-hard Knicks fan. I bleed blue and orange. I was raised by a New Yorker, 35 years. Born on Long Island, moved to Houston, Texas when I was a kid because that's where my family moved. But I have been rooting for the Knicks for as long as I can remember. I don't really feel the need to have to prove myself to you. But weird comment. We could type F Jason in the comments if we want to. We did get a super chat, though. Al H. Is it Al H or AIH? I think it's Al. It's Al for sure. Al H, I know you've been in the chat before. You're a real one for that. All $10 super chats equals a shot. Got some F Jasons coming in the chat. I'm sorry, Jason, but I don't understand the hate, bro. I'm staying here. I've already been at work for 10 hours today. I could have went home. I didn't get to have to get you guys a video. But I decided, you know what? The real ones out there, they deserve us to go live and talk about the latest Knicks news and rumors. So, you guys.
You know what? And, Al, I'll take one for you, too, just because of how polite this was. I mean, he goes, 1 cent under, $10 is a shot. He said, you know what, Marsh, take my $9.99. You don't need to do a shot. I love it.
DeClaude says I've been working out. Does that mean I'm looking big? Does that mean I'm looking small? What does it mean? I did go on a run last night. I am trying to lose some weight because, What color were you? You got it? Is he saying I'm looking fat? Is he saying I'm looking skinny? I don't know, but Declan, I appreciate you, bro. Either way, even if you're clowning or...
Do you think it's Declan or Declan?
Yes.
I think it might be yeah.
Joe Curry says they don't have chat sports in NYC yet. What do you,
We may not be in New York, but we're talking about New York.
Our studios are in Dallas, Texas. So no, we are not in New York, but Joe Curry, we have a Giants channel and we have a Knicks channel. I run our Giants channel. Irvis says I unsubscribed. Thing is, Declan says not clowning. You look good, King. Let's freaking go. Let's go. I'm trying to shed the LBs a little bit. Been eating healthier the past couple of days. Yes, go. But Irvis says I unsubscribed. Thing is, you did not, because we're in subscriber only chat and you chatted, which means you're a subscriber. And he said he unsubscribed because you acting like Randall don't exist, like he stole something from you or took your girl or bullied you in hie school. No, he just didn't play good last year for the New York Knicks, and I'm going to call it like I see it. I'm going to call a spade, because if you want to go to a Knicks channel that's going to tell you Julius Randle's great, everyone's great, roses and blossoms and petals and rainbows and unicorns, go somewhere else, because on this channel we get you guys real information, real analysis, no bias, even though I am a little biased at times because I love this team. No cookie cutter stuff.
You know, I think also Julius Randle, if his attitude wasn't as poor as it was when the Knicks started playing bad last year, that's where he kind of turned me off, and I'm not even a Knicks guy, and just Julius Randle, his trade value on the market right now, I mean, I don't even know if you could get one first.
Exactly, and if they could, they would have traded him. Irvis says 20, 10, and 5. Find it on trees that grow. Those numbers are great, Irvis, no doubt about it. But when you shoot 41% from the field and 30% from downtown, that is terrible. Like, that is legitimately bad. Like, that is worse than bad. He was one of the most inefficient players in the NBA last season. And he was a shit teammate. He was a shit culture guy. He was someone that didn't care. The Knicks won a comeback basketball game, and the team stormed the court and celebrated. Julius Randle grabbed the ball, flung it across the court, left the court, and went to the locker room and demanded a trade. He's a coward. He's soft. He is not someone that you want to build around. He said, your boy RJ shot 40% at the rim. Yeah, but he's also a winning basketball player. He's someone that cares. He plays with effort. He bleeds blue and orange. He doesn't quit. He's got that dog mentality. He would never tell the fans to go F themselves. If you want to compare RJ to Julius, sure, do that. But remember, RJ Barrett's 21 years old. Julius Randle's going into what? Year 9 in his NBA career. Julius Randle has never performed good with the New York Knicks when the fans have been in the building.
And you know what? I would love to dive into this RJ thing versus Julius Randle, because it is. Listen, I get Julius Randle put up some good numbers 2 years ago in the COVID year. But last year, how do you not, like, as a Knicks fan, just have that awful taste in your mouth when you're just like, dude, like, for me personally,
I do. I hate him.
Yeah, and, you know, RJ Barrett, you have a guy who comes in every single year. You can see he's been working in the offseason. And, again, RJ, he was 24th in usage rate last year. So obviously the shooting percentage is going to take a little bit of a dip. But I'll get this from infamous new king. Correction, Derrick Rose led us to the playoffs 2 years ago. Who was the leading scorer in the playoffs 2 years ago? It was that boy D Rose. Derrick
Rose was the best player on the New York Knicks in that playoff series. Irvis is now saying, I give you the body language. If RJ's a winning b-ball player, but Randle carried us to the playoffs. Randle in that season was great, no doubt about it. Irvis, I will give you that, no doubt about it. And I was all aboard the Julius Randle hype train. Go back and watch some videos on the channel. I was all in on Julius Randle, no doubt. He was a top 20 player in the NBA that season. Finished top 10 in MVP, second team All-NBA, most improved player. But the 2020-2021 Randle was not the same guy we got 2021 and 2022. You can say it was, but it wasn't. His attitude was worse. It seemed like his energy and his effort was worse. It didn't seem like he cared about winning. He seemed like he cared about Julius Randle. I don't know.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, yes, 2 years ago, Julius Randle had a fantastic year. I'm not trying to take that away from him.
He was great that year. No one is going to if someone tells you he wasn't great that year, they didn't watch. But that was 2 years ago now. 2 years ago.
And plus, like, it's not like in the playoffs, like, if you forget.
He was terrible.
He was very bad. I remember.
I'm going to pull up his stats right now.
So, in that playoff run, obviously I'm a Bulls guy. I was pulling hard for the Knicks against the Atlanta Hawks. It was Tibbs, Taj Gibson, D. Rose. And I found myself, as a Bulls fan, getting frustrated with Julius Randle going into that year. He was great during the regular season. I thought, honestly, going into that playoffs, I was like, damn, this is a chance with Julius Randle to, make the Lakers look bad. That's kind of what I thought it was. Just wasn't the case. And I hate getting up on here and bashing guys, but if he's not going to give the effort that a guy like R.J. Barrett would, like in his body language, you acknowledge it, Irvis, I just feel like with guys like Randle, he tasted kind of a little bit of his success, and then last year when the Knicks team wasn't doing as good as he thought it was, he checked out. And that just, for me personally, that would piss me off as a Knicks fan.
I just put in a list for stat. It should be at the very bottom. I want to keep talking about Julius Randle because it is an interesting topic. No doubt about it. Julius Randle was great for the New York Knicks when he was most improved player, second team All-NBA, no doubt about it. But look what he did in the playoffs. He folded like a freaking lawn chair. He folded like a lawn chair. Fans got back in the building, and he shriveled up. 18 points per game, almost 5 turnovers, 29% from the field, and 33% from downtown. Julius Randle was awful in the playoffs. I also put a List 10 logo in there if you want to pull that up, Sneeps. I love Randle when he cares about the New York Knicks. But wait till you see all these things on screen that went wrong for Julius Randle this past season. Let's start with the thumbs down incident when he pretty much told Knicks fans to go F themselves. What about when he got in a scuffle with Rudy Gobert because he was being a punk? What about when he was being a punk again and got in a fight with Cam Johnson and Julius Randle got ejected and Cam Johnson caught on fire? Shout out to NBA Jam. He's heating up and he hit a 30-foot game-winning bank shot. Julius Randle also had a career-high 12 technical fouls. The dude was texting in post-game press conferences. He slapped the laptop out of an assistant coach's hands on the sideline. He had $163,000 in fines. He wasn't speaking to the media. He didn't participate in lineup announcements on the road. He dressed by himself in the locker room. It's not just about what we saw on the court and the lack of production and efficiency. It's all of these things on top of that. You can have a bad year. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with you struggling a little bit from the field. But if you show me effort and you show me heart, I will back you up on this show. R.J. Barrett did that. Julius Randle did not.
I didn't know that as a Bulls fan. You throw that up. I had no idea. $163,000 in fines. How about this? I'll play devil's advocate right now. Jalen Brunson comes in, and he is his point guard. Obviously, he can run the show. Do you think he could get the best out of Julius Randle? Let's just say the Donovan Mitchell trade doesn't happen. Do you think he can get the best out of Julius Randle?
I do. I do think a point guard could help Julius Randle. I'm going to put some stats over there in a second. Pull up two-player comp if you can, Seeps. And I'll show you some stats in a second. And I saw someone said, why does it matter if he's dressing by himself? He would wait till the rest of the team was dressed, or he'd go into a different locker room and get dressed. It's not being a team guy. That's the problem. But
I mean, if you've ever played any type of competitive sports in high school or college at all, if you have one of your teammates dressing by himself, that would piss you the hell off.
It shows you that you're not trying to be a part of the squad.
Not at all.
But let's go back to what you asked. I thought it was a really good question, and I want everyone to answer this question in the comment section. Does adding a point guard like Julius Randle, or adding a point guard like Jalen Brunson to Julius Randle, does it make him a better basketball player? Pull up that player 2 comp, and I will tell you why I believe that Jalen Brunson can get the most Still sinking. We also got to 200 likes, which means it's shot time, because every time we get to 100 likes, we're going to take a shot. Here we go. Shout out to y'all for hitting that like button. If you haven't yet, 333 people of you. Why? Hit that like button. I'm good right now. But let's look at this, all right? Julius Randle's stats, and you're going to love this because you're a Rose guy. Julius Randle in 2021, his stats with Derrick Rose, 20 points per game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. But he shot 43% from the field and 36% from downtown. That was just in 26 games. Without Julius Randle, his efficiency fell off a freaking cliff. 39% from the field and 27% from downtown. What does this graphic tell me? That Julius Randle is going to be a better and more efficient basketball player when a point guard is on the court. When you have a guy that can create shots. When you have a guy that takes pressure off of you. When you have a guy that can set you up in your spots and not let you dominate the ball like Derrick Rose does not do with Julius Randle, Randle is going to be a better basketball player. And I do think that Jalen Brunson can help him get to that. Seeps, what do you think of the graphic? What do you think of the stats?
Shout out to D Rose for that graphic.
Shout out Derrick Rose.
But I do think, last year, who was the point guard? Alec Burks.
Alec Burks.
Listen, I like to say if I was in Julius Randle's shoes last year, I would have stayed positive the whole year. No matter what, I would have still tried to be a team player. But you never really know what he was going through. And I'm just trying to play devil's advocate right now. Obviously, it would piss me off as a Knicks fan what Julius did last year. But, the stats don't lie. Honestly, any player in the NBA, if you have a strong point guard, their stats will go up. If you have a point guard who can get you a ball, your stats will naturally go up. But when it's not there and he just decides to check out and he just says, I'm done, I'm not going to support my teammates and I'm not going to dress with them, I'm going to get fined all year, that's a big concern.
Texting and post-game media press conferences while you're being asked questions is probably the biggest sissy move of all time. That is a pouty baby, like you have a daughter and she's hungry but she won't eat and she's just whining.
Or slapping your coach's tablet out of his hand.
Because he was showing him something he did wrong on defense and he just slapped it out of his hand.
Yeah. And it's a little weird that Tibbs just didn't allow this, but I feel like Tibbs with the expectations going in the next season with or without Mitchell, I'm assuming that we'll get a way better version of Julius Randle. Yes, I just saw it in the comments. Hector, Julius Randle is a diva and needs to be gone. He did show diva tendencies last year, but God, now I'm trying to think if Brunson's in there, man. Okay, if you don't trade for Mitchell, I say you keep Julius Randle.
Yes, because and you see if he can play up his value.
Yes.
I do want to touch on this question from where'd it go? James Gaines, if you could pull that up. James, I appreciate you tuning into the show. I see you in the comments all the time. He said, Marshall, you really need to stop being a hater on Randle. He's still a Knick. Now, if he gets traded and you want to kick his back, and it's one thing, but good or bad, indifferent, we love our team. James, I am right there with you. It's the offseason, and I'm going to call it like it is. I'm going to call a spade a spade. But if Julius Randle is on this team come game one, I will be a Julius Randle supporter. Whoever wears that Knicks jersey with the once a Knick, always a Knick right here on the shirt, I will root for them no matter what. I will never root for a New York Knick to be bad because I want the best for my basketball team. And if Julius Randle is good, that means this team is going to be good. So if he's on the team, I'm going to root for him. But in the offseason, when we're talking about roster construction and reconstruction, I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't think he's best on this team. Do I think he can get better? Do I think he can be more efficient? Do I think Jalen Brunson's going to help him? No doubt about it. But I would never, ever root for someone to struggle as a New York Knick.
Marsh, I want to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah. Randle was the only player willing to come to the Knicks when no other player wanted to. It's a lot easier when they offer you a bunch of freaking money. The Knicks were the only team offering Julius Randle that amount of money. I do want to give credit where credit is due. I appreciate him coming and trying to bring that challenge and putting that bullseye on his back, the guy that's trying to bring the Knicks back. I respect the hell out of that. That's why when Julius Randle was playing like he was in the COVID year, I was beating on the table saying he was an MVP candidate. But he just went sour on me, man. He really did.
Marsh, I feel like we got a lot of active comments in here. Do you want to bang out this mailbag right now?
We can do that.
You guys all seem like you guys are really, we could dive into this Julius Randle thing, and Marsh can really give his thoughts on a mailbag. What are your thoughts? Or do you want to get to the Mello segment first?
Well, Jason B just asked, do you guys have the boot tonight?
I don't know if I can do a boot tonight. Jason, well, if you can think of anything else besides the boot.
We do have the boot, Jason. Yeah. James says, Marshall, then get ready to cheer along because I truly believe that this is the year of the team. James, you are, like I said, man, if he's on the show, if he's on the team, I'm going to root for him, no doubt about it. Jason, we do have the boot. Seeps is not feeling that well, but
I don't know if I have a boot in me tonight.
Maybe for it's going to have to be 100.
Yeah, it would probably have to be 100.
It would be 100 because he did tell me earlier in the day he doesn't really have it in him. But if you do super chat, if someone super chats $100, I think he's got to do it. I just think he's got to. Irvis, back with me. I appreciate you sticking around, Irvis. Just because, guys, I also want to say this.
Shout out to Irvis. You know what? That's called conversation.
Yes.
That's called having a debate.
Yes, Irvis, I don't dislike you for the way you think. I actually applaud you. And on this show, I want my opinions and thoughts to be challenged because if everyone just agrees with me, this show's not going to be anywhere. It's a two-way conversation. That's why we're called Chat Sports. We drive audience engagement. So I got you, Irvis. I see you in the chat. We got your comment up. He said, Marshall, your memory is very short because we have no 4 seed without Randall from 2 years ago, and we won't be getting Mitchell now because the team would have gone in a different direction if he was losing. I think I've given Julius Randle all the credit for that 4 seed. Julius Randle was great that year. How many times do I have to say it? Second team All-NBA, best player on the Knicks. Didn't show up in the playoffs, but what he did that season, he was great. He was a top 10 MVP guy, second team All-NBA, first guy since Carmelo Anthony to make an All-NBA team as the Knicks. Julius Randle was him. He was Himothy that season, no doubt about it. But he fell off a cliff, and he didn't play like that same guy this year, whatever the reason was, XYZ. But as soon as fans came back in the building, it seemed like his production fell off. If it was the playoff performance, man, that kind of just pushed me away. It really did. Irvis says there would be no Spida coming this. I don't agree with that. I don't agree that the Knicks not making the 4 seed would have changed that because I could argue that the Knicks without Randall that season would have been pretty bad and they could have had a really high lottery pick and they could have tanked and they could have got someone really good in the lottery and they could have had Donovan Mitchell to that piece. So I don't really agree with that, Irvis. I get your thinking. But I don't really agree with that. Jason B, though, $100 super chat, and my guy Patrick Seatman will take a boot to the dome. He said he'd do it because he's a real one and you guys are real ones. Let's get to a mailbag on the show. Are we going to need some questions?
From you guys. I've gotten a couple.
You can put that weigh-in
so
up.
But yeah, definitely give me some questions in there. We can stay on this Julius Randle debate we've had going on, but I think Marsh, he loves talking about Julius Randle. He loves talking about RJ. He loves talking Knicks, of course. Get your questions in there, or if you think, or give him a take in there.
Yeah.
If you say, hashtag Knicks, Marsh, I think you're tripping on Julius Randle right now with Jalen Brunson, yada, yada, yada. Get those in there, but you guys need to make sure use hashtag Knicks before, at the end, or in between, and then I'll be able to pull it.
Yeah. Pop that weighing up there. Hashtag Knicks. If you have a question that you want to be featured in the show, this video will also be going on the channel, so you'll officially be a part of New York Knicks Now. Ask a question. Hashtag Knicks. Hashtag Knicks. Or if you super chat, you get to skip the line. 219 likes, 320 people watching, $39 in supers. If we get to $100 in super chats, that's 4 shots I got to take. And if we get a $100 super chat, Patrick Seatman is going to boot. And we'll hit the, let's ride.
Yeah, get those. Yeah.
If you have a question, make sure you drop some questions. Shout out to Kirill.
I see a lot of good stuff in there. Just make sure you guys are using hashtag Knicks where I can pull it.
Yeah, even if you have a comment, a take, it doesn't have to be a question. If you want it to be featured on the show, just use hashtag Knicks.
Jay Dragon says, I'm on fixed income, but I did get to see the Knicks win 2 ships.
I would.
I'm jealous.
I think I would chop off a couple fingers to see the Knicks win a championship. Like, what would you guys do to see the Knicks win a championship?
Yeah. What would you do for a Klondike bar? What would you do for a Knicks championship? I would do a lot for a Bulls championship right now.
Like, to see the Knicks win a championship would be pretty damn cool, man. If you have some questions, get them in. D So Nice has a question.
Yeah, I think we might be.
And if you got to pull some general ones, just do it. If you need me to go longer on one so you can get cool, just let me know. Let's start this one with a cold open sub, though, if you can. Actually, no, you don't have to. You don't have to. That's cool.
Sure.
You don't have to start cold open sub. We can just go straight into it.
You want to do sub read off the top or you full screen?
Nah, we could just do it middle-ish of the show. It's cool. Third time's the charm has a question. Irvis has the question. Irvis says, pull up RJ's stats against the Hawks. RJ was 20 years old in that series. But I'll tell you this, he didn't shoot 28% from the deck. Tell you that much, Irvis. This is my problem with Knicks fans. And it's not even my problem. What I don't get is when we try to raise someone else's stock or talk positively about a player, we have to shit on someone else. We don't have to do that. If you're a Julius Randle guy, there's no problem with that. But you don't have to shit on RJ Barrett in the process. That's just weird behavior, in my opinion. All righty. Actually, RJ Barrett was 20 that playoff series. He wasn't even 21 yet. James, I hope they can get you a chip. But let's do it. Let's get into a Knicks mailbag right now. What's up, Knicks fans? You're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. In today's show, I'm going to answer your guys' questions, which came from our live show. So subscribe and turn your notifications on so you can be alerted anytime we go live. And we only pull questions from subscribers like my guy, D So Nice. Hit that big red button. He says, could we be top 15 in offense and defense without Mitchell trade and make the playoffs? Top 15 in offense, I think we could hover around 50. I think we could be right there in the middle of the pack in the NBA in offense and defense. The Knicks last year were a pretty good defensive team. That was with Alec Burks and Evan Fournier as your backcourt. If you can have Jalen Brunson, who's a better defender than either of those guys in your backcourt, I think you'll be better. I think we'll be a way better offensive team. I'm expecting the pace to be brought up a little bit more this year, play a little bit of a faster brand of basketball. And he says, do you think they can make the playoffs? I 100% do. I really think Jalen Brunson is going to prove a lot of people wrong this year and show them that he could be the best player on a team that goes to the playoffs. I mean, he was the second best player on a team that went to the Western Conference Finals, and he was the best player on a team in the first round of the playoffs when Luka Doncic missed 3 games and the Mavs went 2-1 against Donovan Mitchell. So yes, to all 3 of your questions, yes, yes, yes. I think the Knicks can be a playoff team, at the worst, a play-in team with Jalen Brunson. Arrow Man, what up? He says, is Tibbs coaching a negative for Brunson or Donovan's playing styles? This is a really good question. I don't think necessarily Tom Thibodeau's system on offense really fits Jalen Brunson the best. In Dallas, they kind of ran that 5-out offense where the court was spaced, the lane was open, and Brunson could operate in that mid-range to paint area really, really well. That's not going to be what the Knicks do this year. But I do think that the defensive mindset and attitude and swag that Tom Thibodeau brings is going to make Jalen Brunson and or Donovan Mitchell a better basketball player. I mean, if we just had Jalen Brunson and no Donovan Mitchell, Mike D'Antoni as the coach would have Jalen Brunson competing for an all-star spot. But I do think the defensive mindset that Tibbs brings is going to make them better basketball players. Not the best offensive system, but these guys are both hoopers and they'll be able to figure it out. Andrew, who do you want to see the Knicks beat in the finals? If we just get to the finals, I don't care who it's against, my guy. But who would I want him to beat in the Western Conference? Beating the Mavs would be pretty cool. Living in Dallas, I'm just not really a big Mavs fan, and seeing Brunson do it against his old team would be good. Beating the Warriors would be pretty cool. I mean, beating Steph Curry, beating LeBron James and the Lakers, beating anybody in the finals would be damn cool if you're a New York Knicks fan. Just seeing them in the finals at this point would be badass. But I want to do this on today's show. We've done it a couple of times, but it's always fun. I have a blast going down and reading the comments section. I want you to name a random Knick in the comments section. Patrick Ewing ain't random. Carmelo Anthony ain't random. Allen Houston ain't random. Latrell Sprewell isn't random. But a guy like Chauncey Billups, that's random. So name a random Knick in the comments section for me right now. Irvis says, Julius was 9th in the NBA in defense the playoff year and 19th in his body language here. Randall is a good defender. He just sleeps some plays. I believe when Julius Randle is plugged in defensively, he could be a solid defender. I wouldn't call him an elite defender by any means, but sometimes I think he falls asleep on that side of the floor a little bit too much. Sometimes I question that his effort is all the way there. But he has all the skills and ability to be an elite defender. 6'9", strong as an ox, has quick feet. He should be an elite defender. He's got some short arms, but he's still a good basketball player. If he's on this team come day one, I'm going to root like hell for Julius Randle to be a good basketball player. Third time the charm, is R.J. Barrett or Jalen Brunson all NBA potential? Great question. I think both of those guys possess all NBA potential. I don't know about this year. I think it could be in a couple of years. R.J. Barrett's just 22, and Jalen Brunson is just 25 years old. So I don't know if it's this year, maybe in a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. But yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility. I think they both have all NBA potential. I mean, R.J. Barrett at the age of 22 and 21 averaged 24 points per game in the second half of the season. So yeah, I do think both of these guys have all NBA potential down the line. Appreciate your question, fam. Next one coming in from NY or Nowhere. How many wins does the rotation of this win? Okay, I like this question. Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, Barrett, Obi, Mitch, bench, Rose, IQ, Fournier, Mello, Hartenstein. I guess my question would be, where did Julius Randle go and what did you get for him? Maybe you dumped him for Russell Westbrook and you bought him out. But Brunson, Grimes, Barrett, Obi, Mitch, Rose, IQ, Fournier, Mello, Hartenstein. Jericho Sims as well coming off the bench. I think that's a 43, 42, 44 win team. I mean, last year the Knicks won 37 games with Alec Burks and Evan Fournier as their starting backcourt. If you go from Brunson and Grimes to what you had last year, I think that's a much better team. I think Brunson alone raises this team 4 or 5 wins. So I'd say 44, 45 wins, a playoff team and not a play-in team. Great work here, though, by Patrick Seatman, the producer. Las Vegas has set the win total for the New York Knicks at 39.5 wins. Remind you, they won 37 last year with Evan Fournier and Alec Burks as their 1 and 2. 39 wins for the Knicks. Type O for over, type U for under. Predict it. Let me know. More, less, over, under. Let me know what you think. 39 wins for the Knicks. O for over, type U for under. I'm like having to burp a little bit. My God, my abs are hurting. It's probably because I'm working out too much. Just kidding. Eduardo, if we don't land Donovan Mitchell, who would be our next target to sign or trade? Great question. We actually did a video on this a while ago. Future trade targets not named Donovan Mitchell, because at some point, the Knicks will have to consolidate assets. They have 10 players on this roster, less than 25 years old. They have 11 first-round picks and 11 second-round picks in the next 7 years. The Knicks aren't going to make 22 selections. So at some point, they will consolidate young players and picks to go make a trade. A guy not named Donovan Mitchell? What about 2 names here? And it might sound crazy, but let me talk it through it. Let's start with Joel Embiid. What happens if the Philadelphia Sixers once again come up short in the playoffs? And let's say Harden and Embiid butt heads. Could Joel Embiid start to force his way out? I think it's something to monitor. And what about Devin Booker? He's a CAA client. He's a part of the CAA mafia. What about the Phoenix Suns? Have they already tapped out? Once Chris Paul retires, how much better are they going to get? Have they ceilinged out? So I think, it'd be a long shot for either of those guys, no doubt about it. But the next superstar, I don't know. Maybe Booker, maybe Embiid, maybe someone comes out of nowhere. Maybe it's Anthony Davis. I don't know. But I do believe the Knicks are going to go all in for someone. And when they do, we are going to be breaking it down on this channel, youtube.com/KnicksTV. When the Knicks make a move, we get you guys a video. When the rumors come out, we get you guys a video. And sometimes we go live on the channel. Most of the times. We're going to start going live once a week for sure. If you love the Knicks and you're looking for a one-stop shop on YouTube that puts out videos every single day on the New York Knicks, we're your channel. Hit that big red button. Ralph, what up, bro? When Randall was playing good, I knew it wasn't for the team. He did it for the extension. He did it his last year in LA and New Orleans. So, yeah, after Julius Randle played good and was a guy that was the second-team All-NBA guy, most improved player, top 10 in the MVP, he did get cashed out. And that's any NBA superstar. Heck, that's me at work. If I know I got a big payday coming up, I'm going to give it my all. But it's what you do after the payday that I think really shows you the type of person you are. Do I know if there was something personal in his life? I don't know, so I don't want to dig too deep into it. But Randall was not the same player in 2021, 2022 that he was in the COVID year for sure. I hope he gets back to that. I'm not the biggest fan of Randall. I thought he had a bad attitude last year, bad body language, wasn't a good teammate. But if he's a Knick come game one, I'm going to be rooting for number 30 to be a damn good basketball player. Last question on this mailbag from John. I think if they trade for Mitchell, I think it will help Randall have a bounce back year and help Brunson for sure. Okay, so I kind of misread that. I'm sorry. I don't see Julius Randle staying on this team if they trade for Donovan Mitchell. You can't have four ball-dominant guys that are all best when they're attacking the rim. R.J. Barrett, most effective inside the paint. Jalen Brunson, good three-point shooter, best when he's attacking the paint. Julius Randle, he can make threes, shot 41% in that COVID year. He's best in the mid-range and attacking the basket. R.J. Barrett, the same thing. Also the contract. You don't want to pay $30 million for Randle, $30 million for Mitchell, $28 million for Brunson, and $30 million for R.J. Barrett, and $15 million for Mitchell Robinson. The Knicks want to stay flexible on the cap. So I do think if the Knicks trade for Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle will be traded in a salary dump. But I do think that if the Knicks don't trade for Donovan Mitchell, that the Knicks and Julius Randle will get better. I think Jalen Brunson will make life easier for a guy like Julius Randle because that's what good point guards do. They make life easier for everybody else on the roster. But since you asked about a Donovan Mitchell trade, John, I want to ask you guys this question. If you could only pick one of these guys to keep in a Donovan Mitchell trade, who is it? Type 1 for Obi, type 5 for Emmanuel Quickly, type 6 for Quentin Grimes. This will be the real one roll call of today's show. So answer this question so I know that you're a real one. And we got $100 super chat. I was trying to keep it together during the cut, and I couldn't. I was laughing. I was dead. Jason B has done it.
You are a legend, Jason B. I'm going to go get the boot right now. Marsh, you take care of it. Jason B, I'm going to give you 110% effort right now. Shout out to you, man. I thought there was not a chance that came in, by the way. Me and Marsh looked at each other I was like, dude, we stopped in this mailbag, but that was awesome.
Jason B, wow. So we did get to $100 in super chats, which means that I owe you guys 4 shots. And since Jason B sent in a $100 super chat, I owe you guys 5 more shots. So we are at 9 shots right now that I've got to bang out. And, yeah, I might start slurring my words a little bit. So bear with me. The thing, though, is with these live streams is I can't be the only one drinking. You guys got to be drinking, too, and I hope you are. Jason B, Jason B, Jason B, you never let me down. I can't wait to update the graphic to put you in the $100 club, the Super Chat Ring of Honor. Yeah, Senpei, it is Fireball, but at the end of the day, it's still liquor. And you take 9 shots of anything, you're definitely going to be feeling it. I mean, unless maybe I'm being soft, maybe I'm being lame, but 9 shots because it's going to get me drunk. All right, keep track, guys. I still owe 8 more shots. Marvin Daniels is sipping it with me. A. Cardenas says, pour it up. I am. It really just never goes down easy. As much as I drink Fireball, it does not go down easy, my friends. I'll do one more, and then we'll space it out a little bit. 3 shots back to back to back is a little tough. Ooh, Jason B. Let's show Jason B some love in the chat. Just type Jason B, because your boy, the boot is ready. It looks super weird on the green screen. It's a green screen behind us if you didn't know. That's why I never wear green. But not only is this a boot, Jason, this is an ice cold boot. Like ice cold. Like ice cold. And when you chug stuff that's cold, it is a lot harder. Oh, man, it has turned into a party. I'll rip a couple more shots. We're at $152 in Super Chats. $48 from 200 Bones, which equals another 4 shots. Everybody's showing Jason B some love. That's real. Shout out to Carl. Shout out to Knicks Galaxy. Twan. Cardenas. Nathaniel is in the chat. Before we do this, Nathaniel, I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the show. Now that you are, I got to show my guy Nathaniel some love. He was the first person to send a picture of himself rocking the real one, New York Knicks Now.
He looks like a real New York.
You like this is bleeding New York Knicks. The love that you guys show, man, is awesome. Knicks Galaxy also sent one in. We showed him some love earlier. I saw him in the chat. Still is because he's a real one. Nathaniel, salute to you, bro. Anytime you want to chop it up about the Knicks, hit me up on Twitter. I'm down to chop it up anytime, anywhere. Because what I like to do is show love to people that show love to me. And you've done that. So I've always got your back, no doubt about it. You got my back. I got your back. But my guy Seeps is back from the bathroom. I'll take one more shot. I think that's number 5.
All right, guys.
And my guy Patrick Seeps is going to take this boot. You don't have to beat a record. You don't have to do anything crazy.
I'll probably figure that out about 3 seconds in if I'm going to go for a record or not.
The floor is yours.
Yeah, shout out to Jason B. I really did not think.
Jason B delivered.
Awesome.
Because he's a real one.
Awesome.
Show Seeps some love. Type P in the chat. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. He's not even waiting. He's going. Patrick Seatman is a legend, taking this boot to the dome. But more importantly, Jason B is a legend for dropping a $100 super chat. It just is incredible what he can do. Chug, 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 chug. Bottoms up, bottoms up. I don't really remember the rest of the song, but yeah. Wow.
That hurt.
Rate the chug. Rate the chug or grade the chug. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade the boot. A, B, C, D, or F. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade the chug. Grade the chug. Ball says A+. Arrow Man says B for boot. James Gaines says B. Sinpai says A-. Nice says A. Webb says B. Carl Jean says A+. Eric says A. Jesse says A. Twan says B+. Astral says A. Brandon says A.
I knew my man Carl.
Carl,
Me and Carl kind of relate.
honestly, I'm kind of jealous of the Patrick Seatman and Carl relationship. John says A+.
Carl, that boot was for you too, by the way, man. Shout out to you, Carl. Shout out to everybody else who gave me
B+.
I thought
A.
I grade myself, I had to give myself a B.
Jason B gives you a B+.
I was just gonna say I would give myself a B+.
Jason B. He's done better.
Yeah,
but he came into work gimpy today. He told me off the rip, today's a day that I don't know if I got many boots in me. Did you already let loose?
No.
Not yet?
We're good so far.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Like, do you know instantly when you got to do it?
Yeah. I thought, like, when I was halfway down, I was like, yeah, this might come back up. But then once I finished it and I went out there, I was like, all right, I think I'm good. So, yeah, we're all good, guys. Shout out to Jason B, man. That dude's a...
Sinpei says A effort, not a drop spilled. Not a drop.
I got a little one right here.
Give yourself some credit. Arrowman says I got 4 shots left. That's 100% right. That is 100% right. I just banged out 5 shots, so I'm going to give it a sec. But let's go through some supers because we did have some more supers come in. Well done, says Jason B. B plus is good. A for heart. Jason B, you get an A every day. That's a fact. Jesse says he can't hear Patrick too well. Turn your mic up a little bit. Let me know if you can hear Patrick better. Let me know.
Oh, my mic's over here.
Oh, his mic wasn't even on. You know what that means? An instant drunk because he just took. If you didn't know, a boot is 3 beers.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. And he just chugged 3 beers. People are saying, Patrick, turn up your mic. The kid's drunk and he just forgot to put on his mic.
I didn't have
Jason B, you're getting my producer drunk.
Shout out to
Astral is back.
Yes, sir.
Astral's a real one.
Legend.
Can you guys hear Patrick now? Let me know.
Are we good? Yeah.
Are we good?
Yeah, I can hear myself.
All right, let's do it. James says you didn't turn your mic on. I think he's good now. Nice Mello says, I guess I'll throw my tall boy back with you guys. Nice. That's the rules. I can't be up here drinking by myself. Webb says Patrick is booted. I'm dead. Astral, your super chat, which was $10, which means I owe another shot, which means I owe 5 shots right now. 1 more to come in a second. But he says, hold on.
You're going to like this one.
Ugh. My shirt just shipped out. Hopefully I get it in the next few days. Also, I predicted 42, 46 wins with or without Mitchell. I think you're right on the sweet spot, my guy. I think 37 wins last year. I think Brunson adds 5, 6, 7 wins to your team. The Knicks blew a lot of fourth quarter leads last year. Jalen Brunson is a guy that can secure leads in the fourth quarter. He can get a bucket. He could slow down the offense. He can play in clutch situations. I think this team's going to be a much better fourth quarter team. And I think I really do think that Jalen Brunson's going to help this team a lot. Astral, I just took that shot.
Shout out to Astral.
Shout out to Astral. Also, shout out to Eduardo. Came in with the super chat. He said, if we sign Spida, should we trade Randall for Miles Turner?
That's interesting.
Interesting. I don't know if the Pacers would do that, though.
Pacers would probably hang that up. You'd probably have to throw in, like, Randall or somebody else. I mean, maybe a young guy, but then again, you probably don't want to do that.
My thing is, if you trade for Miles Turner, where is he going to play? Because you already signed Mitchell Robinson to a 4-year, $60 million deal. You just signed Isaiah Hartenstein, 3 years, $18 million, and you just signed Jericho Sims to a 3-year deal. So you're already 3 deep at the center spot. So I get the idea. I like Miles Turner, stretch big, block shots, one of the best in the league, but I just don't really know if there's a spot for Miles Turner on this team. Maybe you play him at the 4, but I don't really think Miles Turner is a 4 going forward. I think he's a 5, and that's where he's most effective, but you already have Mitchell Robinson. I get the thought process as Wardo, but I don't really think that's going to happen.
Marsh, we'll get to the rest of the super chats, but first I got to say what's up to my guy.
Rich Rob is in the chat.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go! The real ones are here. I got the real ones with me. Jason B, Rich Rob, James, Ralph, Webb. Irvis is a real one, even though we were giving him a little shit. We're just playing games, my guy. Talking Knicks hoops. We shouldn't always agree. But one thing we do agree on is we want the Knicks to win basketball games. That's something we can all rally around. Larry Edwards with a $2 super chat.
And a dollar.
And a $1 super chat. Larry, if you have a question, drop it in the comments. We'll make sure to get it up on the screen. If you have a question, so James Gaines a super chat, my guy. Let's ride. $10 super. That means I owe another shot. I think I was at 5, then 4. Now I'm back up to 5.
Yep.
James Gaines is a real one. I've seen him in the comments section before. Let's ride.
Hey, check your DMs. I think Rich sent you a pic.
Let's ride. Let's go. He always does.
He said he's in the car watching.
Senpei says, I think Pat needs a shot. We're going to let him recover a little bit from the 3 beers. I know his stomach is rolling right now, 3 beers, but whew, definitely the shots are starting to hit, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you that much. I will tell you that much for sure. That we're caught up on all the supers. We are at $163 in super chats, which means we are $27 away from getting to 200 bones. Once we get to 200 bones, we got 4 more shots to take up.
James says, come on, Pat, that fireball will soothe your stomach. I disagree.
Thing is, Seeps is a real one. He'll be back in a second. Let him settle a little bit.
Yeah.
I still owe 4 shots. We are also at 251 likes. If you can't super chat, there's no problem with that. There's a lot of ways to support this show.
That's
like,
no
comment, subscribe, and share.
No way. I love this ever. I think Irvis is moving up in my favorite Knicks fan. Because we were disagreeing with him all night.
Irvis, just for that alone.
Give me a shot. Give me a shot.
Push that piece across. We were arguing. I wouldn't even call it arguing.
We were having a
civilized debate about Julius Randle. And I love that you have stood your ground, because that means you believe in your takes.
100%.
As you should, because you are a smart person. All Knicks fans are smart. John LaBello.
Yeah, I just saw that. Come on, man.
Hold on. Let me get a shot, though, for my guy Irvis, because he's a real one. Look, we're not always going to agree. We're not always going to disagree. But we will always agree on the Knicks wanting to win basketball games, and that's what we're about. Irvis, this one's to Julius Randle. Let's ride.
Cheers.
Definitely feeling it.
Oh, yeah.
Arrow Man, how many shots do I have left? Because he's been my counter.
Yeah,
he's been the guy that's let me know. I forgot. I think I'm at 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. Arrow Man, let me know how many shots I have left. He says I have 3 shots left. I appreciate you, Arrow Man. You are an official spotter of the shot count here on New York Knicks Now. I think might as well hit it so we don't have to film it tomorrow. What do you think? Yeah, I'm good to film it. Yeah. All right, so we're about to get into a little segment that I cooked up.
A great segment. I'll hop on here and hype this up. So this has been kind of a conversation among Knicks fans. And I'm not going to tell you what the conversation is yet until we get into it. But I got to admit, this might be one of my favorite videos that I've seen Marsh put out. He deep dived into this, actually, and you guys are going to absolutely love this. It's around the Donovan Mitchell trade, a little Knicks history. You guys are going to love this. I can't wait.
I'm excited to talk about this. If you watched the last couple of live shows, people have brought it up, and it got me kind of fired up, I would say, because I feel like it's a lazy take, sort of say. Yeah. Before we dive into it, shout out to a real one. Rich Rob from 3. Bang! Rich Rob with a $5 super chat.
All love. That's all he said.
All love.
All love.
That deserves a shot. We're selling shots on the discount. Let's ride. Anytime Rich Rob sends a super chat, I'm going to take a shot. It's kind of like once you get to that echelon of being a real one, like he is, I'm just always going to take a shot because it's a party when you're in the chat. Rich Rob, an absolute real one. Arrow Man says, get your other buddies to finish those 3 shots. Are you calling me soft?
We're the only ones here, too.
Yeah, the thing is, everyone got to work today at 9 o'clock. It's 8:30 where we're at, and those guys went home. We didn't go home because we get you guys Knicks content when it happens. I got to release like a good burp, and I just can't do it. I can feel it in my abs.
That's the worst part to be it.
Irvis says don't get too crazy. Thing is, Irvis might be your first time watching. That's what we do. We turn up, we have fun, we talk about the Knicks. I feel like we're different than every other Knicks channel out there, and I want to give credit to all of the Knicks channels out there. And I don't name them, I'm sorry. Shout out to Knicks Media, Knicks Fan TV, probably the OG, the GOAT. He set the wave. I still tune into Knicks TV every single night. Knicks Media, Knicks Film School, Into the Knicks First, Nothing But Knicks, Blue and Orange. I don't know how to say their name. I think it's Blood Orange.
Blow Orange?
We've seen it before. Yeah, Blood Orange. I don't know the name. If someone can let me know, let me know. But everybody that creates Knicks content, Knicks Film School, just Let's Talk Knicks on Twitter. Charlotte, she does a great job. I want to give a credit to everybody because, look, we work hard to get you guys content. Yes, Astral says, is it Blue?
That's a tough.
I don't know what. I don't know if it's the shots or what. Also, Nothing But Knicks. The Knicks wall. The Knicks wall is one of my favorite. He's dope. The guy that runs that is dope. Knicks Fan TV is the GOAT, no doubt about it. I love to chop it up with CP. I don't know what this shot is for, but this is for Rich Rob. Let's ride.
We also got another shot coming.
Another $10 super from Charles. Let's ride.
Real one.
Might as well get another shot. He is a real one. He knows the drill.
Arrowman says you have 3 left. Finish strong.
Is it 3? Arrowman, is it 3 after this shot, or is it this shot and then 2 more? I don't know, but I'll take a shot right here.
Okay, Irvis says blah orange tears.
Okay, blah orange tears. Their stuff is dope. Honestly, dude, all the stuff that the Knicks content creators is awesome. After this shot, it's 3 more. You're right. Arrowman, thanks for keeping me on track.
Should we go segment before the 3 other ones?
Huh?
Segment before the 3 other ones?
Yeah, we got to get to that ASAP.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this segment. We teased it a little bit. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You guys have no idea what's coming for you.
Astral says I was close. Close to what? All right. Bob Sapita, he's a real one. All righty, let's do it. Let's dive into this segment. I think it's going to be pretty fun. Blah orange tears. Okay, it's blue. I get the idea. I just can't say it because I'm really not that. I sometimes can't speak all that well. But let's get into a segment right now. We're about to get into the latest Knicks news and rumors and break down why a Donovan Mitchell trade is not another Carmelo Anthony trade. But first, subscribe to New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports for videos every single day. When Knicks news breaks, we get you guys a video. When Knicks rumors come out, we get you guys a video. And we also go live once a week. So if you're looking for a one-stop shop on YouTube that covers the New York Knicks, we're your guys. Lock us in. Hit that big red button. What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Marshall Green. And in today's show, we're going to break down, is acquiring Donovan Mitchell for the New York Knicks just another Carmelo Anthony trade? Because I see it all the time. I see it in the comment section on these videos. I see it on Twitter. I see it on Instagram. Everyone always says, we got to be hesitant about the Donovan Mitchell trade because it's just going to be another Carmelo Anthony trade. But before I give you my analysis, I want to just get this out there. I think the Carmelo Anthony trade was a win for the Knicks. They got the best player. Sure, trading Wilson Chandler, Timofey Mozgov, Danilo Gallinari, and Raymond Felton sucked. But none of those guys were even close to what Carmelo Anthony was. It was the following moves that made the Carmelo Anthony trade not as successful as it should have been. But in my opinion, it's not even close. It's not even close to the same trade because the Knicks in the Carmelo Anthony trade gave up the bulk and the core and the center of their current roster. The Knicks will not be doing that in a Donovan Mitchell trade, and I believe the Knicks are more suited now than what they were in 2010, 2011 to make a trade, a blockbuster trade. But before we get into some deep analysis and a look back at the roster, is a Donovan Mitchell trade another Carmelo Anthony trade? Do you think history repeats itself and we're going down that line again of giving up the farm, as people say, for a superstar that can't be a number one on a title contender? Is a Donovan Mitchell trade another Carmelo Anthony trade? Let me know what you think. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let's turn the clock back. Let's go look at some history. These were the four big dogs in a trade for Donovan Mitchell. It was Raymond Felton, it was Wilson Chandler, it was Danilo Gallinari, and Timofey Mozgov. All of those guys were starters. Timofey Mozgov started to heat up before the Mello trade. He would have been the Knicks center going forward. So you traded essentially four starters. This was the full trade details of that Carmelo Anthony trade. Knicks got Mello, Sheldon Williams, Chauncey Billups, Ronaldo Balkman, Anthony Carter, and the Knicks shipped out Wilson Chandler, Raymond Felton, Danilo Gallinari, Timofey Mozgov, a first-round pick in 2014, a second-round pick in 2012, and a second-round pick in 2013. We know what happened. We know what played out. So I think we're all equipped to answer this question. Who won this trade? Who won the deal? Was it the Knicks? Was it the Nuggets? Type NYK to the New York Knicks. Type DEN for the Denver Nuggets. Let me know who you think won this trade in the comments section right now. Let's break down, though, right now, why it's not even close to being the same trade. This was the Knicks roster after they made a trade for Donovan Mitchell. Keep that L3 on for the roster court. They had Chauncey Billups at the 1. Landry Fields, Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire, Ronnie Turioff was their starting center, Sean Williams, Extra E Sean, Tony Douglas, Jared Jeffries, I call him Billy Walker, but his name is actually Henry, and Sheldon Williams. Who on this roster is a foundational piece? Chauncey Billups was washed at this point. Landry Fields was a young rook, but a second-round pick who had some potential. Carmelo Anthony's no doubt a building block. Amari Stoudemire at the time was supposed to be a building block. Ronnie Turioff wasn't. Sean Williams wasn't. Tony Douglas wasn't. Jared Jeffries wasn't. Henry Billy Walker wasn't. And neither was Sheldon Williams. You also had Roger Mason and Anthony Carter. Neither of those guys were building blocks. This was the 2010 and 2011 starting lineup for the New York Knicks following the Carmelo Anthony trade. You had Chauncey Billups at the 1. He was already over the hill. You had Landry Fields at the 2. Solid player, but a lot to still prove. You had Mello. We know what Mello does, a certified bucket, 26 points per game. You had Amari Stoudemire. He was great, but the injuries were starting to catch up from him. And you had Ronnie Turioff at the center. So think about that. We just showed you the 12-man roster for the Knicks when they had Mello and the starting lineup. Let's now take a look at the Knicks roster right now. They have 10 players on this team younger than the age of 25. That was not the case when they made a trade for Carmelo Anthony. That was a team with Mello that didn't have a lot of young pieces that could become great. The Knicks, they have 10 guys under the age of 25. McBride, Barrett, Reddish, Grimes, Quickly, Jericho, Obi, Mitchell, Isaiah, Jalen. 10 guys under the age of 25. Also, the Knicks are still loaded with draft capital, and they weren't after that Carmelo Anthony trade. They didn't have multiple first-round picks. If you look at what the Knicks have right now, they have a bunch of draft capital. 4 first-round picks in 2023. Some of those are protected, so they may roll over into 24 and 25. But you got 4 picks in 2023, a first in 2024, 2 firsts in 2025, and 11 first-round picks over the next 7 years. You are in a great spot to make a trade for a superstar compared to where you were in 2010, where you really weren't positioned that well to make a deal. Also, you still have a core on this team that is younger than 25 years old. If you make a trade for Donovan Mitchell, when you traded for Carmelo Anthony, All you really had was Landry Fields and Amari Stoudemire as building blocks. But if you trade for Donovan Mitchell, you're going to have a great four people. Great foursome, as I like to call it. Everyone loves a foursome, pause. But you got Jalen Brunson at 25. You got Donovan Mitchell at 25. You got R.J. Barrett at 22. And you have Mitchell Robinson at 24. That is 4 starters that you will have that are good players and not yet in their prime that you would have on this roster if you trade for Donovan Mitchell. Also, the Knicks are set to make a blockbuster trade. We talked about it. 11 tradable first-round picks. 10 players under the age of 25. At some point, you have to consolidate assets. You didn't get those picks to make 11 first-round picks. And you also didn't get to do it when you had 10 players on this team younger than 25. The Knicks are right now set to make a move for a superstar. I would argue in 2010, they weren't ready. They didn't have a youth core. They didn't have guys they could build around. They didn't have a lot of draft capital. Right now, they are. Also, the Mello trade wasn't the problem. It wasn't making a move for Carmelo Anthony that was a problem. It was what happened after that. We'll break it down. The reason the Mello trade wasn't the problem is because the Knicks got the best player in the deal by far. I love Wilson Chandler. I love Danilo Gallinari. Raymond Felton was great in that D'Antoni system. I also thought Mozgov could have been good. But none of those guys, after they left New York, could even sniff what Carmelo Anthony was as a basketball player. But like we said, it wasn't just the trade. It was what happened after the trade that made the Mello trade not look good. Amnestying Chauncey Billups over Amari Stoudemire, wrong move number 1. The Tyson Chandler trade, wrong move number 2. The Andrea Bargnani trade that you included a first-round pick, that was an L. You also didn't pull the trigger on a Kyle Lowry trade that was ready to be made, but you didn't want to include Iman Shumpert, so you couldn't trade for Kyle Lowry. Imagine if you had Lowry, Carmelo Anthony, and Amari Stoudemire. That's a team that could have been a legit threat in the Eastern Conference, and you never got a point guard to pair along Carmelo Anthony and Amari Stoudemire. It wasn't the trade. You got the best player in that trade, a 26-year-old generational talent in Carmelo Anthony. It was what happened after that made the trade not look so good. I do want to ask you guys this question, though, before we get on out of here. It happened 10 years ago, 11 years ago, 12 years ago. What are your thoughts on the Carmelo Anthony trade today? Type R for it was the right move, or type W for it was the wrong move. It was the right move. They got the best player in the trade. They just didn't make the right moves after that. But I want to hear from you guys because I value your opinions. Real ones, stand up. Let me know what you think. Type R for right move. Type W for wrong move. I really don't think it's all that close. Like, to compare those two is, like, what do you think, Seeps? I just spit for 12 minutes. Get up on screen. Let me know what you think. You've seen the graphics. You've seen it all. Let me know what you think.
I really agree with you. Obviously, you just made your points there, but I didn't realize, like, Melo was 26 when you guys traded for him?
Yes.
Holy. I mean, I agree. I think it was the moves after. I mean, the trade wasn't – it's not like you guys gave up anybody
one for
special.
a future first-round pick. When you talk to Knicks fans, it's we gave up the youth in Danilo Gallinari and Wilson Chandler and Timofey Mozgov and Raymond Felton.
But it's definitely – I mean, those moves after. I mean, you can bring in LeBron, Melo, or whoever you want to bring in, but if you don't –
you got to build around them.
Yeah, you got to build around them, or else it's just there's no point. So – yeah, wow, that was I agree. I don't think it's similar at all to the Donovan Mitchell.
It's not even close. It's the laziest take of all time.
Just because if you just look at the Knicks roster, I think I saw Rich in the chat. He said we're more prepared for it this time.
100%.
100% agree with. I thought that was a great point from Rich. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think, if you looked at that roster when you guys did trade for Melo, I mean, the fact that you had Chauncey Billups as the starting point guard, obviously out of his prime, but there was really no depth to that team. It didn't really seem
depth. You had no youth. You had no building blocks. You were paying Amari Stoudemire $100 million. He already had torn up knees. You should have amnestied him. You don't remember after the CBA and the Knicks came back from that, or the NBA came back from that little lockout.
It seemed like you just put you were like, hey, Melo, we traded for you.
Be great.
Make it all work.
Yeah, do everything.
Be great. Yeah. And that's just there's nobody in the league who can really do that. Obviously, LeBron is very close, but there's nobody really in the league that can overcome that type of dysfunction. But guess who super chatted during the segment?
My boy Big L, let's ride. Chiefing a Big L when I get home. If you know, you know. But he said, at this point, I just want something to be sure as to what our team will be. I can see a DM trade or keep them till the Jan. Just make up your mind and show us what the team will be this year. Patience, patience, patience. I have to tell myself that every day, Big L. I want a trade to happen, but I believe it'll happen the closer we get to September. I do think a trade gets done. We have what they want. They have what we want. That's when two sides agree that they have what the other person wants, a trade is going to happen. At this point, I just want it to be sure as well, Big L. But that's why you subscribe to stay up to date. When the news comes out, we're going to get you guys a video. Big L sending a $10 super chat. Every $10 super equals a shot. So let's ride. Arrow Man, after this shot, how many am I at?
Arrow Man. I think you're still at 3. Because you owed 3 before. We'll check back in with the shot guy.
Yeah.
Arrow's
on point. I trust him with my life. I trust Arrow Man with my life.
But this might be my favorite super chat.
This is the super chat of the night, though. Yeah. Rich Robinson
it's incredible.
Got on his am I reading this wrong? Rich Robinson, his wife is tuning into the show. Hey guys, Knicks household, let's frickin' go! Knicks Now. It's like a disease. It spreads like wildfire. Everyone can catch it.
Melinda, I have to ask you a question.
Melinda, thank you. I really appreciate that.
How do you feel about Rich watching Knicks Now driving around the street?
She doesn't have to know about that.
Does she not know about it?
Just because a real one's family member is in the chat, we're taking another shot.
I'll take one too, Marsh. Hand that bottle over here. That's the best super chat I think I've seen in a while. Just a family of
Melinda,
Knicks Now and Knicks
thank
fans.
you for supporting the show, and thank you for being the woman for Rich Robinson, because that right there, that's a real one.
You hold it down. I can tell.
We are $5 away from $200 in super chats, which means we owe 4 more shots. Type Melinda in the chat. I saw my guy Skills says I'm taking a shot for Melinda. Show Melinda some love in the chat. Let's roll.
Come on.
Melinda is a real one. Big L is a real one. Charles, Rich Rob, Irvis, James, Larry, Eduardo, Astral, Jason, Al, King, Knicks Galaxy, and Jason B. Honestly, at this point, if you're still watching, you're a real one. We've been live for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Hell of a live.
Or 2 hours and, what time did we go live?
6:30. 2 hours and 15 minutes.
2 hours and 15 minutes. It's been a good live. I feel like we've done some good. Did you guys like the Carmelo Anthony segment? Be honest with me. If you want to see more stuff like that, let me know. Did you guys like that segment? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Did you like the Carmelo Anthony segment? Let me know. I'm curious. It's a segment I've been wanting to do for a little while, but I didn't know if you guys actually wanted to talk about it.
We got another super chat, though, that put us past.
Oh, another super! James Gaines for the corner for 3. Wet.
James, you send in the super chat. I want you to ask a question.
James, ask a question, bro. We want to hear from you.
I feel bad, but shout out to you, James. You're a beast, man.
Yeah, so you guys like the segment. Cool. Not going to lie, I thought it was a pretty cool segment. Yep. Do you guys agree? Do you think it is close? Do you think the Donovan Mitchell trade is another Carmelo Anthony trade? I really don't. I don't see the correlation. I think it's a very, very lazy take. Jason B says the Mello segment was good. Thank you, Jason B. That is the approval I was looking for. So we just got to 2. Marvin says no, he didn't like it, but he also just said yes. So I don't know which. Marvin, did you like it or did you not like it? Whew. Errol says he didn't like it.
You know what? You're not going to please everybody.
James says no, he didn't like it. Oh, wait, no, am I misunderstanding? I think I just asked them, is it close? And they're saying no.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, now I get it. I get it. That's on me. The shots are getting to me. Yeah. The shots are getting me. So, Arrow Man, how many shots am I at right now? I think I owe one more shot, but we just got to $200 in soups, which equals 4 more shots.
Okay.
So I think we're at 5 shots right now.
Okay. I'll bury one right now to bring us down the boat. Yeah, that was we asked him back to back yesterday.
I asked him, that's bad. That's bad on me. That's bad on me. Let me see what the subscriber count's up to.
Shout out to you guys. Dude, I just lost like 20 subs on I was close to
I think YouTube probably cleared some subs.
I think they did probably clear some subs because I was like 2 away from 5,300 and now I'm at like 52.
They do that periodically.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, because we were way over 12,000 and it got down to almost 12.
4 shots remaining.
So Arrow Man says I owe one more shot, but the thing is, James Gaines and his $5 super chat put us over 200, which means 4 more shots, which means 4 plus 1 is 5. And Seeps just took one, so we owe 4. Skills, yes, we will Uber home. I'll probably go by Seeps' house after this to sober up a little bit. Seeps lives walking distance from the office.
Yeah, don't worry about it, guys.
All right, so every super chat equals a shout-out because I know some people are wondering, why are we taking shots? Why are we doing all of this? Every super chat equals a shout-out. Every $10 super chat equals a fireball shot. Every $100 in supers equals 4 fireball shots. And every 100 likes equals a shot. We're at 278 likes, which means we're 22 likes away from another shot. Arrow Man says we owe 4 shots left after that one. So 4 shots left. I'm not going to lie, my back's starting to tighten up.
Your back's starting to tighten up?
That's where I got to get in shape.
Stretch out up there. Stretch out up there. Take the off.
How many, who's all left in there?
I think it's just Trace and Mitch.
Trace and Mitch?
They're going all the way to 10. I don't know if we're doing it.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if I have 10 in tonight. But.
Let me make a phone call real quick. You guys can stay on the line for a phone call. Hold on. Hold on. Irvis says, I hope there's apple juice in those shots. Yeah, I do too, because the way I'm feeling right now, I wish there was apple juice because I'm pretty damn drunk. When you see me start swaying back and forth like this, that's when you know I'm starting to feel it a little bit. Trace better answer this phone call. Disappointed. I just got sent to voicemail.
You know who I'm not disappointed in?
Oh, he's back with another one. Rich Rob for 3. Bang!
3 to the dome, Rich. Here you go. She knows how real I am. I'm sure she does. She's a very lucky woman. Now she knows how real y'all are. Shout out to you, Rich.
You guys are the real ones. We're not the real ones. They are.
Melinda and Rich, I strive to have something like Melinda and Rich, I think. Whatever they have, true love. True love right there. They're both having a good time tonight. Shout out to you
guys. I just told my boss that's effed up. Go ask Trace if he will do a boot for $100.
Okay.
Do we want to see another beer boot? If we get another $100 super chat, I think we have someone at the office that will do a beer boot. Trace, come here. Come here. Come here. Bring him. He's rounding third. Here he comes. Trace, they're asking, if we get a $100 super chat, will you do a beer boot? Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Do we have enough beer? We're almost out.
No, we have beer for days.
Okay, bro, I tried.
We don't have enough Trulies, but we do have beers for days. Jason B. No, there's some under that under the microwave. Yeah. Yeah. Jason B., if you want to see another beer boot, if anybody wants to see a beer boot, it's 3 beers, 1 boot, you chug it, Do we have the boot in here still or it's in there? If someone wants to see a beer boot, oh, another $5 super. Let's ride. We're 12 likes away from 300 likes, and that equals a shot. BJ Samuel, a real one. Let's ride. He said, what's good, fellas? Love the show, and I'm a real one. Okay, listen. I want Spida, but don't want to give up the young core, just salary dumps and picks.
Yep. That seems like that's a lot of Knicks fans' kind of consensus on the Donovan Mitchell trade. But, BJ, I don't think you would need to give up all of the young core. I think it would maybe be a piece or two and a bunch of picks. I don't know. I mean, who knows what Danny Ainge wants?
Yeah, I wish we didn't have to give up the young guys. I really didn't. But in a trade, you got to give to get, BJ. And I think if you can get out of this with only trading one of Obi, Grimes, and Toppin, or Obi, Grimes, and Quickly, if you only get away with one of those guys being traded, that's a win, man. That's a win. Like 5 picks, Grimes, Fournier, and Reddish.
Yeah.
I do that tonight. Like I would do that tonight. I just don't know if what are
you thinking about right now?
I was looking at a message from Brett. But yeah, I think it's gonna have to be two of the. I don't know what it's going to have to be.
Here,
Danny Ainge is going to try to take us for everything we got in the treasure chest.
I'll spin zone this. Let's get positive. BJ, I think, yes, if you would have to give away your young core, that would suck. But you get Donovan Mitchell. But then if
who's 25?
Who's 20? Yeah,
Obi's 24.
That's a great point. I didn't even know that. But if you don't get Donovan Mitchell, you get to see these young guys develop. I think Knicks fans.
You're in a win-win either way.
You guys are in such a good spot. Like, if you get Donovan Mitchell, all right, let's ride. If you don't, it's like, all right, let's ride again, and you still have all these young guys. So,
I think the Knicks right now are in a good spot, man. Like, sure, we all want Donovan Mitchell, but I love that Leon Rose is being a master negotiator and isn't just taking the first offer that's put at his feet. Like, he's being someone that you want running this organization. You want him to push the envelope and have to trade the least amount of assets as possible. So salute to Leon. Let's type Leon the Don in the comments section right now. That's the nickname I've been giving him on the show. Leon the Don. CEO of Chat Sports, James Yoder. Type James Yoder in the chat. He's the CEO of Chat Sports. He's the reason I'm working at this company. He says, why isn't Seeps doing a boot right now?
He probably missed it, but
he already did do one boot. He did a $100 super chat for a boot. We did say if we get another $100 super chat, we have another boot to offer, whether that's Seeps, whether that's Trace Gerard. If someone drops another $100 super chat, we're going to get loose. We're already loose. We're also 3 likes away from 300. Hit that like button. That equals a shot. Arrow, man, I know you're still watching. Let me know how many shots we're at because I continue to lose track because that's what liquor does to my head. James Yoder wants a boot on the channel. My boss is watching right now, guys. I need you to hold it down. Someone send in a $100 super chat so we can do a boot. Like, let's party. Let's have fun.
That's what I'm saying.
We did get another super chat, though.
We did.
Abraham Leon. Let's ride. Arrowman says, I owe 4 more shots. Abraham sent a emoji.
Oh, yeah.
Abraham, if you have a question, please ask it. I'd love to chop it up with you, go back and forth about the Knicks. If you have a question, Abraham, comment it in the comment section right now. 4 shots left. Jason B, are you still here? Is Jason B still here? I need someone to come through with a $100 super chat. Because look, the year's coming to a close here at Chat Sports. Gonna have some performance reviews. The better this channel does, the more videos we get to do. More subs equals more videos. And I want to do videos every single day. We're getting there. We pretty much do. But I got to work after hours. I got to work at 9:30 today. It's already 9 o'clock. I've almost been here 12 hours. If we continue to grow here at Knicks Now, I won't have to stay after work and get you guys videos and work extra hours. So hit that big red button. Let's ride.
We got Rich talking about Donovan Mitchell. He says, Donovan Mitchell is 25. He is a young core. He was kind of talking about other Knicks fans kind of saying, I don't want to give away the young core for trading for Donovan Mitchell. But people forget, man, he's 25. And he's already been to the playoffs, I think.
Twice. No,
And
he's gotten out of the first round of the playoffs twice. He's been in the playoffs 5 times.
All 5. So pretty much all.
Every single year the Jazz have made the playoffs with Donovan Mitchell.
And I know it was the bubble, but I remember that bubble year in the playoffs, him and Jamal Murray going back and forth, dropping 45 pieces. I mean,
Donovan Mitchell had, I want to say, one 50-point game in that series and another 40-point game in that series.
And then he also rim and knowed the game-winning 3 in the Game 7. Like, he had a phenomenal year that year.
100%. Astral is back.
This guy.
With a super chat.
This guy just.
An official real one. 299 likes. Hit that like button. Be the 300th like of today's video. Astral says, good night, everyone. Have a good time. Have a good night time. Have a good night time? Is that a thing?
Have a good night time?
Be safe tonight on your driving, bro.
No. He says, have a good night. Time to get back to work.
Okay. Punctuation is key sometimes. Astral. That's since you're a real one, I'm going to take a shot. So we're at 299 likes. Can someone hit the freaking like button so we can get to 300 likes?
One person tap.
So we can tap.
303.
Are you hitting that? Would you hit that? Would you hit that like button? Now we're at 303. You guys answer the bell. It always seems like whenever I start to doubt this channel, you guys make me look stupid. So we were at, Pro Rican Arrowman says we were at 4 shots. Now we're at 300 likes, so that's 5 shots. So I'm going to bust out one right here.
I'll bust out one.
Seeps is back. Jason B, we need him to come through, Rich Robinson. You're right. He's done so much already. I can't really ask for more. He's already given 110%. If he's watching, he'll show some love because that's what he does. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in today. This has been another successful New York Knicks Live. 3 shots left.
You guys, man. Every Knicks Live has been successful.
Every Knicks Live has been successful. Every single one. Abraham Leon has a question. He's super chatted. Let's pop that up. He said, I've suffered too long waiting for the next super Knicks team after Ewing. Mello was cheated as we emptied out team for him. I wish you were around for that Mitchell segment.
I do too.
And he was left with nothing. Do you really have faith we will get Donovan? I truly believe that Donovan Mitchell will play for the New York Knicks. It's just too much smoke around this. Too many guys that are plugged in have said it's going to get done. Windhorst said it's going to get done. Shams said it's going to get done. What's the guy for the Mavs? Mark Stein said it's going to get done. Tim Bontemps said it's going to get done. Like a lot of the guys said it's going to get done, and I believe him. But the reason I believe a trade gets done is because the Donovan Mitchell does not want to stay with the Jazz. He's going to leave in free agency in 2025. The Jazz, they may say they want to build around Donovan Mitchell, but I don't buy it. They haven't made one winning move this offseason. They want to trade him. And right now, the Knicks have the best offer for Donovan Mitchell out there.
Yeah, that was kind of to my point. I mean, there's really no other team that would be willing to match the Knicks offer. Because if you look at, like, Toronto, they're a kind of team that's been thrown around. They're not going to want to give up Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes is untouchable for them. And they would only be able to really give up OG Anunoby and maybe another piece and a bunch of picks. But the Knicks have the most picks. They have the most young players. Maybe the Heat. But again, the Heat don't really have any young pieces.
Jazz don't want Tyler Hero because they're going to have to pay him over $150 million.
And Duncan Robinson already makes $100 million.
Yeah, and they don't want that bad contract. There's no team out there that can offer what the Knicks can. Just like Nice Mello says, we have the gold mine, 100%. There is no team in the NBA better suited to make a trade for a superstar. It's just about Leon Rose and Danny Ainge coming to a point where they can agree on a deal. I think it's done. I think Donovan Mitchell will be a Knick before Knicks training camp opens in mid-September. Anthony Garcia. Let's not be crazy about Mitchell. 6'1", not a real shooting guard. I will trade Quickly for him because Quickly will never be a point guard. Donovan Mitchell is 6'3" in shoes. Last time I checked, you play basketball in shoes and not barefoot. He also has a 6'10" wingspan.
I was just gonna ask you because you say it all the time. What's his wingspan?
6'10" wingspan. Him coming out of Louisville, coached by Rick Pitino, was a guy. Because remember, let's go back to that draft. The guys the Knicks were talking about tanking. Frank Ntilikina, the best defender in the draft, supposedly. Malik Monk, the best true bucket getter in that draft. And in the middle was Donovan Mitchell. He could score and he could play defense. Will Donovan Mitchell ever be an elite defender? No, but I think coming to the New York Knicks with Donovan Mitchell or with Tom Thibodeau calling the shots, I believe he can get the most out of him on defense for sure.
Speaking about Tibbs, Marsh, personally, I would love to. I'm gonna let you take this first, and then I'll give my thoughts.
Fire Tibbs. I think this is Tibbs's. I don't think the Knicks will ever fire Tibbs. And what I mean by that is, even if he coaches himself out of a job and the Knicks want to fire him, I think they elevate him to the front office. I think there's too much respect between Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau. I don't think they fire him. I think it's he retires or he gets a job in the front office. But I think it's very similar maybe to that Golden State Warriors situation. Let me expand a little bit upon that. Mark Jackson was the guy that got in the bus and drove them to school. But Steve Kerr was the guy that walked them off the bus and walked them to their classroom and got them an NBA championship. I think Tibbs can get us to a place where we're close. I don't know if Tibbs is the guy that can take us to the ultimate goal. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's tough to tell if Tibbs is obviously he's a defensive minded. I know it's kind of weird to say an NBA head coach is defensive or offensive minded. But I do think with Tibbs, what he would offer this Knicks team, even if the Donovan Mitchell trade doesn't happen, I think R.J. Barrett has serious all-NBA defensive team potential. And I think Tibbs always will get the most out of the guys on the defensive side of the floor. Obviously, as a Bulls fan, the only thing that really, pissed me off about Tibbs would be the extended minutes in the regular season.
Yep,
I don't think
that's a problem.
I don't really think he adjusted to the more modern game NBA where regular season is pretty much
R.J. Barrett would be playing in the fourth quarter until the game was over and the Knicks would be up double digits.
Yeah, and that's just
with 2 minutes left.
And I'm not saying obviously he's not asking for an injury, but it's just kind of
you're towing that line.
Yeah, you're towing that line. I mean, listen, I'm going to say this, and it's going to hurt me to say. The Bulls were playing this Philadelphia 76ers. There was a minute 20 left. The Bulls were up by 12. And D. Rose tore his ACL for the first time. I think about that every single day almost. Why would you?
What if he was out?
What if Tibbs was just you know what, we're up by 12, we'll take him out. And
games in the bag. Let's put the subs
in the bag. And it was a first round game, or it was game one of a round one series where the Bulls were the 1 seed. And then he was done. So, I mean, Tibbs, it's tough, man. I don't know. Modern day NBA with Tibbs, I don't know. That's tough.
I think I don't know if he's the guy that gets you to the finals, but I think he's a guy that can get a team ready to compete. I think they may need another coach to take him over the top. But I do think this year will be a big year for Tom Thibodeau.
It will be.
Whether they get Mitchell or not, I think he's really going to put his blueprint on this team. And if they play well, Knicks fans will love him. If they don't, they're going to be calling for his head. That's just how it works here in New York. BJ Samuel back with another one. He sent in 2 $5 supers. So we're just going to make that a whole $10 super. And the rules here at New York Knicks Now is every $10 super equals a shot. You sent in 2 5 pieces, and you had 2 questions, so I'm glad. You don't have to take one if you don't want. BJ.
Yeah, this pissed me off too, BJ.
RJ being snubbed from the best under 25 list is really pissing me off, and I want to know your thoughts.
I mean,
it was whack. We did a whole show on it when that list came out from ESPN, top 25, under 25, and he wasn't on it. I'm going to move over a couple of graphics here.
Yeah.
Let's just hype up R.J. Barrett real quick because I'm never not down to talk about R.J. Barrett.
Honestly, I'm so excited to watch R.J. Barrett play this year.
I am too, man.
He's 22 years old.
He's not going to be 23 until next offseason. He just turned 22.
I mean, listen, 3 off seasons, 3 summers in the lab, and he's going to be 25, hitting his prime.
Working with Jason Tatum's trainer.
What's Drew Hanlon? Drew Hanlon's Jason Tatum's trainer. He's been working out with him all offseason, and you kind of see similar builds with RJ and Tatum. If RJ could really kind of get the hezzy game that I think Tatum has from the mid-range, because he's a pretty physical, like, RJ's got
I
some
feel like
shoulders.
RJ's put on muscle this
has.
offseason. We saw the pictures and we compared him. I think he's put on some muscle.
And RJ's shot, like, for me personally, whenever I'm looking at, like, a dude shooting a ball, like basketball, I always look how smooth it is up to the release. And RJ, it's all one rhythm.
Yeah,
like, it's
there's
all
no
here.
hitch.
Yeah, he can work on that. Like Marsha said, if you have a hitch in your shot, it's tough to get quality reps. But if you're smooth every time and it's to the release, I mean, you just start making shots over and over again in each offseason. I don't know. RJ, he's gonna put people on notice.
Matthew Peterson, a super chat, an official real one, no doubt about it. Shout out to Matthew Peterson. Type Petey in the shot.
Yeah.
In the chat. Type Petey in the chat. Let's ride.
Spam Petey in the chat.
Yeah. Good thing there's apple juice in that fireball, like that one clown was saying. Who will be the 2021 playoff Hawks in a sleeper team? It's a great question, Seeps. If you have a team, feel free to talk about it. All right, let me think about this.
2021 playoff Hawks. So that was the year they lost.
A sleeper team. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals that year.
I'm trying to think of maybe an up-and-coming team with a star that could be built to win. I know Marsha's probably thinking Knicks right now.
Could it be the Knicks? Could it be the Knicks with R.J. Barrett and Jalen Brunson? I won't say the Knicks. Let's think of another team.
Yeah, Carl. Detroit.
Carl says Detroit. I don't know if they're Eastern Conference Finals ready, though.
But Carl, so we're out of Dallas here. I am for sure going to the Pistons game when they come into town.
Petey in the chat.
Because the Pistons, listen, Jaden Ivey, Sadiq Bey, I think Sadiq Bey might be the most underrated player in the NBA. He had a 50-piece last year, and he's going into his 4th year this upcoming year. I think the Pistons, Cade Cunningham, I mean, you forget about the number 1 overall pick from last year.
Yeah.
Maybe not next year, but the year after, I could really see that. But the Pistons are going to be a ton of fun to watch. Oh, Marsh, could you think of maybe a team from the West?
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the standings here from the NBA last year. I'll give you a team from the West and the East real quick, not named the New York Knicks. For the East.
You know, I don't think my –
what about Washington? Could Bradley Beal, Kristaps Porzingis get healthy and maybe be that team?
Kuzma, too. I mean, they got guys. I just don't think they have a – like, Trae Young, I think, is a better one than Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
I don't think Beal's a good enough one to drag a team that's not as good around him. But
maybe – like, is Darius Garland ready to be that for the Cavs?
Oh, Evan Mobley. The Cavs might be my choice.
So we got the Cavs, the Wizards, and maybe Detroit in the East. What about the West?
Grizzlies. No. My team in the West is the Timberwolves.
Timberwolves?
I think the Timberwolves, I think with this Rudy Gobert, I'm going to have to wait and see in the last, 2 minutes on how the Timberwolves play with both of them on the floor, but I think they could really stack up about 55, 60 wins in the regular season. See Petey in the chat. He says the Grizzlies.
I think they're already on the scene, though. They were the 2 seed last year, so I can't really say they'll be a sleeper team when you had the second best record in the NBA last year.
Jamal Murray, MPJ coming back with the back-to-back
What about
MVP?
the Clippers?
I feel like they're on the map.
Is that cheating?
Yeah, I feel like that's cheating. Because Paul George and Kawhi and John Wall.
What about Portland? Is that cheating? You got Dame. They've been to the conference finals before.
I just saw it. The Pelicans. Zion.
Pelicans?
Brandon Ingram was legit.
B.I. is legit. B.I. is legit.
God, the NBA is going to be
Great question, Petey. Yeah, great question.
Yeah, way to fire up some conversation, Petey.
I like that. We did get some R.J. Barrett stats in there. Go to that list 4 cat, then we'll go to the list 4 stat. Anthony Garcia says, chat, always enjoy your channel. I always enjoy you, Anthony Garcia. Shout out to you. I think Pro Rican, let me know how many more shots I have left. You're my shot guy. You always will be. Let me know how many shots we have left.
There we go. We got some RJ numbers.
We got some RJ Barrett numbers because I see some hate in the chat coming through. Talk them through it, Seeps. Let me know
Yeah.
what you think of these stats, because
Okay.
they've heard from me enough.
So what I see when I just look at these, my number one takeaway is development. Rookie year, 14.5 points per game, 2.5 assists, shooting 40% from the field, 32 from three. And then 2020, that's the year I want all Knicks fans to kind of look at and say, if he does that next year, maybe up the assists per game by a couple and maybe get to 5 rebounds per game. Look at those splits. 44% from the field and 40% from three. If he can replicate that and be an all-NBA defender, he's making an all-star team. That's an all-star level player. And then last year, obviously the splits go down. Points per game goes up. He was 24th in usage rate. 24th in usage rate in the entire NBA. I'm always a believer, the more times you have the ball in your hand, you're going to be sloppy. You're going to be sloppy, and then you're going to obviously shoot a worse percentage from the field.
As usage goes up with most players in the NBA, efficiency goes down.
Yes.
But in a bad year where R.J. Barrett started the season really bad, he finished up with 20 points per game and 3 assists. I know we want to harp on the shooting. But at the end of the day, 41% from the field and 34% from three isn't terrible.
No, it's not bad.
And in the second half of the season,
Yeah, 34% from three is not like –
it's not. I think the average in the NBA is 36. So a little bit below average.
But he's a 6'9" wing.
Exactly.
Like,
6'7", 6'8", 6'9", wing, can play defense, two-way guy. There's a list 4 stat as well that we'll get to. Started a little bit slow, though, this year. This was a guy that really wasn't a focal point of the offense. It was Julius Randle. It was Evan Fournier. It was Kemba Walker. It was getting those guys involved. But once Kemba went to the bench and Evan Fournier had a more considerable role and Julius Randle started to miss some games, R.J. Barrett became the face of this franchise. In the final 42 games of the season, R.J. Barrett was the best player on this team. 23.5 points per game, 3.5 assists, and 41.5% from the field. So as his points per game went up, so does his efficiency. He was 40% from the season and nearly 42% on 23.5 points per game. He also shot almost 35% from three. If R.J. Barrett did this for a full season at the age of 21, people would be saying he's like the next Luka in the NBA. These are incredible numbers, ladies and gentlemen. And I know we don't always want to be box score watchers. Yeah, the efficiency's a little low. But if R.J. Barrett this year can average 21 points per game, 3.5 assists, 43% from the field, and 36% from three, I'll take that to the bank every single time. He's gotten better every single year. The stats have gone up. Efficiency has fluctuated. But I believe in my heart of hearts that R.J. Barrett can be a great player in the NBA.
Yeah, and also, I've been saying this for a while. RJ coming out of high school, he was shadowed by Zion. When he got to Duke, he was shadowed by Zion. And I still feel like in the NBA, he is still being shadowed by, or overshadowed, not shadowed, overshadowed by Zion's just presence.
And Ja.
Yeah, and Ja. Yeah, think about the first 2 picks of that draft class.
Yeah.
It was
Seems like Darius Garland gets more love, too, who's picked fourth.
yes. And I don't know. I just think RJ, he's not the flashiest player. It's not like you turn on his highlights and it's some crazy handle or crazy dunks. I just think he's going to be a really pure player. He's got great size. He has all NBA defense potential. But I don't know, man.
Pull up Ant Fat Ninja's comment, the one that says, please stop. And I want to talk through that because this might be comment of the night. Ant Fat Ninja says, please stop acting like the last month of the season was this thing that's going to be consistent. Well, Ant Fat, unless I'm like really stupid, at most there's 31 days in a month, right?
Yes.
Does the NBA play 31 games back to back to back? I don't think they do that. And also, I showed you a stat with 42 games played. That's more than half the season, bro.
Yeah.
And you're saying it's the past month? If you have an agenda and you want to push it, that's cool. But at least be factual and have something to support your argument. Don't say it was just the last month of the season. It was the last half of the season, the whole second half, man. I don't really think like...
We'll get some positivity after that because our boy Big L.
Big L.
You know he's got our back. Throw him up.
Everything RJ has put in his mind has come to fruition. He says he wants to be an all-star, and I believe him. I believe it. And I think he hears all this. He responded to someone on Twitter with a laughing face emoji the other day. That's not something R.J. Barrett does. He doesn't get involved with the hoopla. But, I don't know. R.J. Barrett had a game this season where he scored 46 points and was 13 of 22 from the field.
Was he just eating at the free throw line, I'm guessing, too?
He got to the line a lot. He missed like 7 free throws.
Yeah, I know
though.
He's a shaky free throw guy. But, you know,
that's 50 points. 46 points at 21 years old on 13 of 22 from the field. That's legendary stuff, bro.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I agree.
All righty. We've been live for 3 hours at this point. Yeah. Let's do this. I'm going to put a shot clock on. We'll chop it up for the next 2 minutes. 2 minutes. All super chats that come in those 2 minutes, we will answer them. If no supers come in those next 2 minutes, we're going to get on out of here. We've already been live for almost 3 hours breaking down the latest Donovan Mitchell news. We talked about Carmelo Anthony. We did 2 live mailbags. If you guys want to keep the show going, it's the super part of the show. We're live for 3 hours already. I've been at work. Seeps has been at work for 12 hours already.
A nice 12-hour day in us.
Yeah, nice 12-hour day on a Tuesday. If you have a super chat in you, send it. We'll answer it. If not, we're going to bounce on out of here. 2-minute shot clock. We're already up to 40, 50 seconds already. Let's go to what Messiah has to say. He said, RJ has an NBA body, but his handle and doesn't have athletic ability. I was always hoping that he isn't Evan Turner 2.0. Yeah, he's not even close to Evan Turner. Yeah. I think he could improve his handle, no doubt about it. The athlete thing is kind of questionable to me. He's not an elite athlete, but I think he's a solid NBA athlete. I've seen him put a lot of guys on posters.
And he's got real solid,
he's 6'8" wing with athletic ability and can put it on the deck and get to the hoop. 2 minutes on this time, or any super chats that come in this time, we'll stay around and answer them. But if not, we're going to clock on out of here. Messiah, I get it. I think he needs to things I think RJ needs to improve on. His ball handling, his finishing with his right hand, his free throw shooting, and his consistency with his jumper as well as passing out of drives. He's not even close to a finished product, no doubt about it.
But again, he's 22. He's going to have 3 more off seasons. He's working out with Drew Hanlon, Tatum's trainer. Tatum, if you guys watch NBA Finals, I'm sure you did. He still was sloppy with the ball. I mean, it's not like these guys at this 6'7" size. It's not easy to handle the ball like that. But if he didn't show progression over the first 3 years of his career, I would agree with you. But the fact that he gets better every single year, and you can tell he just wants it. I'll buy into people like that. I'll buy into people that really care and really want to win more than a guy like Julius Randle, who we've been going back and forth about this the entire night.
All righty. Those 2 minutes are up.
Shout out to my dad. He was watching. Great show, guys.
That's right, Mr. Seatman.
Shout out to you.
So I think we had 3 shots left. I'll just bang them out real quick. Ant Fat Ninja says, love your channel, man. Good stuff, not just delusional stuff. Look, if you're looking for someone that's going to give it to you straight, give it to you real, break down the latest Knicks news and rumors, no sugarcoating, we're your channel. Subscribe. Shout out to Patrick Seatman. I want everyone to type PS in the comment section right now. PS in the comments. Because today's show would have not been possible without my guy, Pat. So show him some love. We're going to bang out a couple of shots here real quick.
Shout out to the host of this channel, Marshall Green. We didn't have to do this today.
We didn't
Mark
have
said,
to.
I'm going to put in that extra work because I know Knicks fans are going to show out and show up like we did all stream. So shout out to you guys. It was a great stream. I love chopping it up with you guys. You guys are great.
One more shot. If you want a super chat to get in on the show, you got a question. You got by the time I take this shot back, but
Here, this is a good one.
My God. Shout out to my guy, Kid Intel. He said, bro, I left and came back. Still taking shots. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. It was a great night.
Let me answer Big L's question. He says, would you do a Randall trade without DM start OB? Nah, if we don't trade for Donovan Mitchell, I think you keep Randall and you hope that Jalen Brunson can make the life for him a lot easier.
I agree.
That's what I think about that. I'm not completely out on Julius Randle. I think having a point guard will help him. We showed those stats a second ago of his splits and his efficiency with Rose on the floor compared to not. He's clearly a much better player when he has a point guard. I think Jalen Brunson is going to be that guy that's going to help him out a lot. Big L says, cool, I agree. We're going to do a quick Twitter push, and then we're going to bounce on out of here. Let's do that. If you haven't yet, give me a follow over on Twitter. It's in the chat at @MarshallGreen_. Just click it. Give me a follow. Everybody that gives me a follow in the next minute, I'll give you a shout out and I'll follow you back at @MarshallGreen_. If you're not following me, change it today. I'll follow you back at @MarshallGreen_. Give you guys about a minute. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in today. Crossed over 12,000 subscribers. It's been a long way to get there. We've doubled this channel subscriber count in the past 3 months. That's a credit to all the real Knicks fans out here. I think the Knicks fans are the best fans in the world. Jason B says, real one signing out. Keep running a great show. Jason B, as long as you tune in every week, I will continue to do my absolute best. El Cid, Bob, Andrew. Andrew said he can't wait to get his shirt. Let's see if anyone followed me on Twitter. If not, my guy E, the everyday rando, just gave you a follow back. Shout out to you, bro. Knicks fans from Brazil in the chat. They do great stuff on their channel as well. Shout out to you, bro. That's going to be it for tonight. Subscribe, like the video, comment, give me a follow on Twitter, and we'll see you later on the next New York Knicks Now.